That was a chippy series, too, between East Carolina and UCF. Some Twitter stuff going on after the series ended.
You mean the trash talk. There's a chopped ball to left, and Sullivan grabs it at third base, and there's quickly 2 away. Yeah, it can get intense with these guys, but and I got to say, we mentioned they have a lot of fans that come to their games. They really get into the games, and it's the kind of fans you want. Might have gotten a little too hostile at times last year, but, you know, like you say, we heard with Billy Mole, you got to remember to play the game of baseball, and so far that's all we've seen. But in that series, UCF jumped ahead all 3 games, and ECU just has a fantastic offense. They are never out of a game, and this guy's another example. Spencer Brickhouse, and he swings at the first pitch. Coming in from left field is Zek, and he looks like he's going to grab it, and he does. Well, a quick 1-2-3 inning. You could not have asked for anything more as far as the start goes in this game. We head to the bottom of the first, no score yet. This is baseball on the USF Radio Network, presented by Marathon.
Best tailgate? It's gotta be burgers. And an ice cold Coke.
Real football y pollo asado.
Mac and cheese.
You need a hot grill. And an ice cold Coke.
Of course.
Football and Coke, come on.
It's got to be Coke.
Game day? Race day.
Calls for Coke. You know it.
It's Tailgate 101.
This is Charlie Strong. Not all fans agree on the best game day foods, but when it's served with an ice-cold Coca-Cola, you know you've got yourself a winner. Coca-Cola. Taste the feeling, grab one, and go Bulls.
Hey Bulls fans, Ron Diaz here, and if you need to sell your home for the most money in the fastest time frame, the only names you need to remember are the Duncan Duo and RE/MAX, proud partners of USF. The Duncan Duo can give you an instant cash offer for your home, or guarantee to sell your home in 29 days, or they will buy it. Trust the agents that have thousands of 5-star reviews and have sold over $1 billion worth of real estate. Go to DuncanDuo.com or call or text 813-359-8990 today.
USF Baseball on the USF Radio Network, presented by Marathon.
No scores. We head to the bottom of the first inning after a 1-2-3 turned in by Sullivan against the Pirates. Jordan Santos will be leading it off for the Bulls. Again, with the 25 walks, the .462 on-base percentage. His batting average is almost inconsequential by comparison, and he's hitting .257. Kyle Phillips back in the lineup, and he has been rolling 4 straight 2-hit games. .344 is his average. Joe Genord, the slugger, who had 2 home runs among his 4 hits on Wednesday night in the 10-9 defeat in DeLand. He is batting third and hitting .350. Austin Bedrado was moved into the cleanup spot 2 weekends ago and is still there, hitting .286 with 3 homers and 15 RBIs. Brandon Schrepp, he has gotten more regularly into the lineup of late as the DH. Jake Sullivan will be following him up. Bottom of the order goes Tyler Dietrich, Nick Gonzalez, and Garrett Zeck, and they'll be facing Jake Agnos, a lefty, on the hill for ECU. Kind of good command as far as in and out of the zone. Nothing spectacular, not a huge strikeout pitcher, but this year it's kind of been an exception. He's struck out at least 7 in his last 5 starts, so he's kind of geared it up with 50 strikeouts in 34 innings, and he starts ahead of Jordan Santos, but that ball is a little bit high, 1-1.
92 on that pitch.
Yeah, he very solid, but again, nothing spectacular, but all you want in your Friday night starter. And Alec Burleson was the first couple of Friday night starters. This guy, Jake Agnos, will do more than give you a chance to win, especially with a great offense. What you want is strikes, and he's been given that to his team, and that one is on the outside corner, 1-2. When you have a 50-10 strikeout to walk ratio, that is more than getting it done, and the off-speed pitch it gets Santos to chase. Ball eludes the catcher, and in fact, it eludes the first baseman on the throw to first. Spencer Brickhouse can't handle it, and Jordan Santos will advance to second base after striking out a break early on for the Bulls.
Well, we've talked about the sun as it sets over the Yuengling Center, and that was purely sun problem. Spencer Brickhouse never saw that throw. It almost hit him flat in the chest, and the Bulls fortunate that it didn't, because it then rolled down the right field line, and Brickhouse immediately to the ECU dugout to get a pair of sunglasses before he goes back to first.
Yeah, right now the sun is only impacting anyone on the right side of the diamond, including a right fielder who, now that I see him out there, Alec Burleson shading his eyes. And as you mentioned, the curveball drop should have been, well, it's a strikeout either way out, number 1, and it was all affected by the sun. So, boy, if you're the Bulls, hit anything to the right side of the infield and see what happens here. Lefty Kyle Phillips looks at a strike right down the heart, 90 miles an hour to start this at bat off.
That throw was on line, so the error goes to the first baseman.
Yeah, that was a whiff if I ever saw it, but sun impacted. Thinking about where the sun sets in ECU, and yeah, it's going to affect the batters, not the defensive players. Oh, Phillips can't hang to hold off on that curveball, and a dandy breaking away from the lefty, 0-2. Same pitch that got Santos, but again, didn't exactly bounce away from the catcher, Jake Washer, but drew the throw to first base, and that's why the Bulls have their leadoff runner on. The error by the Pirates. 0-2 though to Phillips. Shortstop out there. Brown holding Santos close to the base at second. Oh, an off-speed pitch that almost dropped down in the zone but stayed a little bit high. Already you're hearing the oohing and the awing and the applauding. It's a good environment here tonight, maybe the best of the season. That I've been a part of. It was with women's basketball on the WNIT road last weekend. And the Bulls and the Bearcats were going at it on their Saturday and Sunday. Bulls 3-game losing streak started then. Looking to end it here tonight with the runner on second base to start the game after keeping the Pirates off the board in the top half of the first. Here's the 1-2, and there's that curveball, same as before. Here's got to be another throw to first, and there's a hesitation there. What the heck just happened? Is Kyle Phillips safe again? The catcher didn't want to throw the ball. I've never seen anything like that.
And the sun is not a factor now. It's behind the clouds, but the catcher, Jake Washer, looked at second, had no play there, and then just didn't throw to first. And he had Phillips 10 different ways at first base. He had no problem getting him there, and he never threw the ball.
Really, really curious play there. Almost a mental lapse, you'd have to say. Now, if you're a natural defensive player, the only thing that I could think is going through your head there possibly in the case of the catcher is, don't throw it to first because the runner might advance to third. But that first pump fake has got to be your last pump fake, and then you got to throw it to first, which he didn't do.
Well, how about Jake Agnos comes in, makes two batters look silly, strikes them both out, and the result, first and second, nobody out.
Mentioned you struck out at least 7 his last 5 starts. Basically, first game gave up a couple homers to Radford. Then in his next 5, 11, K's 9, 10, 7, and 9. He has 2 tonight, but there's also 2 runners on base. What a wild, wacky start to this game. And now you got Joe Genord up there for the Bulls. Starts him off with a fastball and a dandy on the outside corner, 0-1.
Came right after him with a first pitch fastball. That's interesting. Joe doesn't see many of those.
Yep, he hit the big blast among his 2 homers in a game last year against ECU. 0-1. Inside, too far inside, 1-1.
The scoring on the Phillips play is safe on a wild pitch, but Agnos credited once again with a strikeout.
Safe on a wild pitch. All right, strikeout, wild pitch. It's happened now twice here that the Bulls have struck out and gotten on base. Who knew? 1-1. Another fastball that Genord waves at. 1-2. So Joe Genord is getting pitched to here by Agnos. Now you got to watch out for the curveball and the change, which he's tossed into, well, great effect. Outside for the fact that his catchers dropped the ball. A couple of third strikes. Could that be the Bulls' approach here? Here comes the 1-2 pitch. And it's another fastball and fouled off by Joe Genord. You got to admire the approach here. Again, the famous confrontation last year between Genord and a guy that we'll probably see later on, Gavin Williams. It was all heat, upper 90s. So, like most teams, you would have especially thought ECU would throw him the off-speed stuff here, but it has not happened. Not once from Agnos. 1-2. Here's another, well, that's an off-speed pitch. It bounces in. Of course, following the path that had preceded it, Genord would have waved and missed and been safe at first, but that was not a strike. It's 2-2. Joe Genord, only with the sparkling batting average of .350, a team-high 21 RBI, added 4 to that total with the 2 homers, and got hit by a pitch with the bases loaded in that loss to Stetson. Looking at a 2-2 count here. And that ball is low, 93 miles an hour from Agnos. He wanted that one. It's 3-2.
I can't remember an at-bat this year where Joe Genord has had more fastballs thrown to him in or near the zone. They're really challenging him.
And I'm impressed that he was able to hold off on that one because it was close to the low part of the zone. 3-2, runners are going, and Genord can't hold up on that one, and Let's see what the catcher does this time. Oh, they've got Phillips leaning off first base, and now they're going to try and get someone safe. First baseman runs down Phillips. Santos has got to go to third. They're going to get Phillips with the second out. Santos gets to third, and there are 2 away. So Genord actually stays at the plate. That was a 3-2 pitch. Oh, I'm sorry, that's Pedrado. Yeah, so there's 2 away, and frankly, this is about where we should be, if even out of the inning right now, but kind of a mistake on the paths there. So it's been a couple of mistakes by both teams here in the bottom of the first. Strikeout number 3 of the game already.
Yeah, he's got a legitimate shot at a 4-strikeout inning.
You don't see very many of those. Now it'll be a fellow lefty, Pedrado, against Agnos. So with the strikeout, the runners were going, and that's why they were able to get the 2 outs, or the 2 outs in the 1 play, first being the strikeout. So 2 away, that ball is bounced in 1-0. Santos out there at third base. So things have sort of calmed down, but it's still got a strange vibe to it. The sun isn't a factor now. 1-0, and Pedrado fouls it off 1-1. I don't want to add a layer of confusion, but I thought that ball was dropped. And I don't remember a throw to first base, but either way, it must have tagged Genord and then worked on getting the out on the base paths. It could have been if nightmare scenario had held up a triple play with Phillips and Santos both trying to play a game there. Pickled. That ball's on the outside. Perfect pitch with the fastball, 1-2. So Agnos 1 pitch away from not only getting a 4th strikeout, but getting out of a strange inning. It's the ECU fans you hear clapping there to our left. There are plenty of them here. That ball's bounced in, 2-2. So his strikeout pitch has been the curveball, and it has worked 3 times. So why wouldn't he go back to it? This hasn't been caught by his backstop. There's no way that Washer could have caught that one as it bounced in. A couple freshmen out there behind Agnos. Santos bluffs, and there's a curveball that stays high. 3-2 once again. A lot of experience returning in the lineup. They mix in 3 freshmen as well. Lane Hoover's out there in center field. Thomas Francisco is the DH. And Ryder Giles is the third baseman. Might also see him pitch at some point. Full count, and that ball's on the outside corner. Pedrado caught looking. Jake Agnos pumps his fist as he has the 4-strikeout inning. Probably will not get any more strange than what we saw, but in the end, no runs for the Bulls, and of course, no hits with the 1 error. We head to the second, no score. This is Baseball on the USF Radio Network, presented by Marathon.
Hello, I'm attorney Robert Rubenstein, and this is Rubenstein's Rules for Personal Injury. Rule number 8, demand the best service. You're entitled to it. Rubenstein Law cares about you. Our team is dedicated to providing the best legal experience during this difficult period. Cases do take time to get you the result you deserve, but we work diligently on those cases. Keep in touch with you and return your phone calls as quickly as possible. Call Rubenstein Law at 1-800-FL-LEGAL. Offices in Tampa and throughout Florida.
Hey, Bulls fans! When the Bulls win, you win with Papa John's Pizza. This season, get 50% off your regular menu price online order at papajohns.com the day after the Bulls win. Use online promo code USFWINS.
All right!
Papa John's Pizza, the official pizza of USF Athletics. Online offer valid at participating locations. Better ingredients, better pizza. Yeah! papajohns.com.
USF Baseball on the USF Radio Network, presented by Marathon.
USF Health, the largest academic medical center in West Central Florida, a place where discoveries are made, the future generation of professionals are trained, and nearly 900 specialists come together. USF Health, making life better. And I wasn't laughing at that. I was laughing at just the thought of what happened in that inning. And got to give all the credit in the world to Agnos. And if anything, the Bulls have done a fine job of running up his pitch count. That is, in all seriousness, an offshoot of those extra outs that ECU gave the Bulls, or extra chances that ECU gave the Bulls. And now a guy who is a true two-way talent. Alec Burleson leading off. Fouls the first. Sullivan pitch off. As spectacular as some of those fastballs were and those curveballs by Agnos, Sullivan was just solidly pounding the zone in that first inning. little bit high there. 1-1.
Sullivan retired the Pirates in the first on 8 pitches, 7 for strikes.
So those 13 fewer pitches than his counterpart, even though it was the defense that faltered behind him there. Burleson late on that fastball, 1-2. So in his first season, you could just see Alec Burleson was going to be a guy that would become a pretty important member of their staff. Started 8 games, ended up saving 4, pitched to a 3.3 ERA, struck out 49 in 54 innings, and was a good hitter. He's become a great hitter this year. And he hits that one hard, but to second base. Jordan Santos makes the play, has plenty of time to zip it on over to Joe Genord as the sun is no longer a factor, and there's one away. This season, I mentioned Burleson being a great hitter, hitting at .402 with 2 homers and 17 RBI. Now, it'll be Turner Brown, the shortstop, a senior, who's only hitting .342 this year. It's been a fantastic season for him, and another lefty. 4 out of the top 5 here in the order. Another one on deck, and Thomas Francisco. Brown is technically a switch hitter, but obviously lefty against the right-handed pitching Sullivan, and looks at a fastball, strike 1. Brown on a 6-game hitting streak, including 2 games with 3 hits. Hits that one high, and Joe Genord bobbles it away, but he was foul at first base when he did, so it's 0-2. Even a little play like that getting a nice reaction out of the crowd here as they're really enjoying this game. So not only do you have the alumni who know the game well, but you have their family or might be seeing a game for the first time in a while, and it's been a nice set of reactions. Like we say, a lot of Pirates fans as well wearing that inimitable purple. 0-2. Oh, fastball against Brown, swinging and missing, and that's the second strikeout of the night for Colin Sullivan.
5 up and 5 down, ahead in the count against all 5 batters.
Can't ask for much more than that. Mentioned Brown hitting .342 this season, kind of being a career season. .230 last year, so a big turnaround, but he turned around and headed to the dugout there. Thomas Francisco, a freshman, the DH, and yes, a left-hander. Colin Sullivan starts him off with a 90-mile-an-hour fastball right in the heart of the plate, 0-1. Be much more impressive than Sullivan so far. 0-1, and that ball's hit well to right field. It's going to drop in for the game's first base hit. So Thomas Francisco, who does have 3 homers, one of 7 guys in this starting lineup, 6, with at least 2 homers, and he's on base with a single. Now, the pleasure of facing a right-handed batter for the first time. As the bottom of the order, ball comes at it from the right-hand side. Sullivan's not going to know what to do. He can throw away from a guy for a change. Brady Lloyd. And there is a fastball in the outside corner, but called a ball. So that's really the first time he's gotten to test the strike zone of the home plate umpire, Doug Williams, from an outside of the plate standpoint. Brady Lloyd, .267 hitter. No homers, 10 RBI. Sullivan an extended look over at first base before throwing plateward, and that one's outside as well, 2-0. You're wondering, Francisco, freshman again over there at first, has not attempted a steal so far. Batter right here, Brady Lloyd, hitting .267, but just .214 with runners on base. Made as though he was going to drop down the bunt. For the first time, Colin Sullivan behind in the count. Maybe not a coincidence, for the first time with a runner on base, it's 3-0. Brady Lloyd is a senior out of Mifflinburg, PA. Sullivan trying to get back in the count on him. And that is clearly a distracting attempt of squaring the bunt. You're not going to do that with 2 outs. It didn't fool Sullivan that time. A strike right down the heart, 3-1. ECU Pirates, actually, for their 18-6 record, they are not as good away from home as they were last year, but they were unbelievable last year. 3-1 to Lloyd, and that is called strike on the outside corner. So that one swept just across and brings it back full. 4-3 is their road record, which is, not bad. But last year the Pirates were 19-4, which is amazing. Full count, runner on first, 2 outs. Runner is going, that ball's high, and there's a first walk of the day. So the first 2 base runners back to back with 2 outs in the top of the second. ECU has a runner in scoring position for the first time today. Sullivan's been really good with those 2-strike pitches, essentially challenging the hitters. That one just got away from him. So now it'll be Jake Washer. The guys in their lineups with multiple home runs. This kid, a junior, has 3 of them. I'd be concerned here. Runners on first and second. He turns on that ball pretty well. Phillips is going back. He's got a long run to get to it. And he leaps, and it is out of here. A 3-run home run as first pitch crushed by Jake Washer. Phillips gave it a great, great effort. But that's what the Pirates can do to you. From nothing to 3-0 is the score.
Number 8 hitter, and boy, he hit that a long way over the 400-foot mark. You know you're in trouble when an outfielder turns and you see his back and his number, and that's what Phillips did. He covered a lot of ground and really got close to that ball, but just too much on it by Washer.
What a great leaping effort by Phillips, and he's still stretching out there. But yeah, Jake Washer knew that fastball was coming, and he timed it up. So from a 3-2 pitch, maybe getting out of the inning to it's 3-0, and that's just how the Pirates roll, unfortunately for the Bulls. Ryder Giles, the freshman, squares to bunt, but looks at a fastball instead, 0-1. Skies that one to left. Shortstop Nick Gonzalez goes back. That comes in, but Gonzalez will call for the ball and make the catch, but not before the Pirates get the night's first runs on a 3-run homer. They had 2 hits in the inning, and we head to the bottom of the second. Bulls now trail ECU by the count of 3-0. This is baseball on the USF Radio Network, presented by Marathon.
Make it count when driving. Make it count when flying. Make it count when traveling. Make it count when giving back. It's Make It Count rewards for Marathon. You earn points every time you fill up or make select purchases at Marathon. You save on gas, airfare, hotels, or support the environment. It's easy to sign up. Text JOIN to 40244. So what should you do right now? Sign up and make it count. Marathon, fueling the American spirit.
Join us Saturday, April 13th for the USF football spring game on campus at Corbett Stadium. Touchdown USF! Admission is free, parking is free. Come get your first look at the 2019 USF football team.
As an offense coordinator, I want to scare the heck out of the defensive coordinator on every snap.
It's the spring game, Saturday, April 13th, 1 p.m. at Corbett Stadium. Horns up.
USF Baseball on the USF Radio Network, presented by Marathon.
Derek Sharp, Jim Lauk. First game of 3 between USF and ECU is really after being not only, it seems like every single road game for the Bulls midweek in the state of Florida has been up northward. It's just been windy and chilly unnecessarily, so it's really nice to be here where there's just perfect temperatures. And a hot hitting team just took one out against the Bulls. It's Jake Washer, their number 8 hitter's 3-run homer, makes it 3-0 as we start off the bottom of the second. I'm looking at, well, that's Evelyn Vienne and that's Sabrina Wagner. Obviously, members of the women's soccer team are hanging out here. I know that we had a scrimmage earlier today, I think it was, against the, it's tomorrow against the Orlando Pride. So add another sport to the spring schedule. That is scrimmages for soccer. Brandon Trepp starts off looking at a fastball from Agnos, swings on that one a little bit late, fouls it off to the right side. I saw the men's soccer highlight from their scrimmage game last night against a team at IMG, and USF men's soccer, if you want to check out their Twitter page, they showed a video of a goal, a free kick by Henrique Gallina, which was just sensational. So yeah, that sport is going on as well. 0-2 and a nice waste pitch inside, 1-2.
And football pro day today, not only a bunch of former Bulls working out, but some big names hanging around. Marlon Mack, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, and more hanging out. Deidre Sanat, bunch of NFL guys.
I'm going to talk about that. I think that's great. And another curveball. It gets away from the catcher, and Straff's got to head to first, and there's a normal throw. So that is the 5th strikeout in as many batters, but the fourth one that's been dropped. And that's the second time that the throw was made. First time, actually, the throw has been made successfully over to first base. So Jake Agnos has it going. Yeah, I know that there's Billy Atterbury. Speaking of the football team, it's always great to see the cross-sport support, if you will. But in Pro Day, not only did you have some players that were on the 2017 football team trying to continue with all these extra pro leagues out there now to open some eyes, but that really impresses me when you see their former teammates who already have pro jobs secure, like Sanat, still wanting to help out their former guys. There's a lot of encouraging you can do there. Jake Sullivan is up now, looks at ball outside. There's another curveball that bounces in. It's 2-0. Sullivan hitting .250 on the season, the sophomore, has become a pretty well regular in the lineup. It's his 14th start in game 24, but I'd say a lot of them have been over the last couple of weeks. On a pretty regular basis now, he's ahead 3-0. 3-0. ECU takes the lead. On a 3-run homer. They actually came into this game even with the Bulls in that category of hitting home runs. And Sullivan wanted to start walking there, but the high strike on the 3-0 pitch, not dissimilar to what looked like could have been a ball 4 to the batter that preceded Washer in the last inning. So consistency from the home plate umpires, what you asked for, you got it there. 3-1. Sullivan swings at that fastball, fouls it off. 3-2. So a week from today will be the first USF football spring scrimmage that is at least open to the public. That'll be at CCC, something different here in year 3. Charlie Strong wants everybody to see his new offense, no doubt. Sullivan waits well on that curveball and pulls it foul. Good job there to stay alive in the at-bat.
A lot of 2-strike curveballs. That's why all the strikeouts have occurred early in this game, but the Bulls, I think, starting to really look for that curveball with 2 strikes.
And with that being the 6th pitch of the at-bat, Agnos is already into the 30s. If you look at the positives there, and that is high, ball 4. Great job there by Jake Sullivan of seeing a fastball and knowing it was out of the zone, and for the first time, ECU has committed a walk. Allowed a walk, I should say. And that'll be Tyler Dietrich, who's starting to swing a pretty darn good bat. That RBI double last week, and he was the only player not named Kyle Phillips who did it twice against Cincinnati to actually drive in a run with a hit. And it was a double, and he had a big one and pull the Bulls to within 10-9 against Stetson. Looked like they were going to maybe come back and tie that thing. It just didn't work out. Looks at a curveball that stays high, 1-0. Thing that ECU does not do a lot of, and that is walk guys. So a nice change there for the Bulls' sake. Curveball and a dandy stays on the outside corner, 1-1. You look at their pitching numbers, 67 walks in 217 innings. That is not many. While the Pirates have walked 98 times themselves. A lot of them intentional, by the way, as teams try and dart in and out of their lineup. Dietrich swings and misses at a fastball, 1-2. Sullivan over at first base with 1 out, bottom of the second. Bulls looking to get something back here. Prevent this game from getting away from them early. Agnos, the lefty, delivers, and Dietrich fouls that one off. My non-expertise math tells me that it's about 2.5 walks issued per game if you're the Pirates, and that's outstanding. It's 1-2 again with 1 out. And there's that curveball, and it swung on and missed. Washer held on to it this time, and there's 2 away. Another strikeout, number 6. And if you're just tuning in, 2 outs in the second. Why is that 6 strikeouts? How can that be? The first 2 were swings and misses, but the base runner would reach base on a error in one case by the first baseman looking in the sun trying to catch the ball, and the catcher just sort of having a momentary confusion and not even throwing the ball in the second strikeout. It's up to Nick Gonzalez. Let's see how the freshman does against Agnos. Looks at a ball in the outside corner. Good fastball, 0-1. Of course, if you're Jake Agnos or anybody for the Pirates, ordinarily you are knowing you're going to get run support. Pirates offense has rarely been held down this year. That ball's hit pretty well. Shortstop has a play on it though, and he's going to Brown take it right to second base and step on the bag. So Gonzalez makes good contact. And for the first time, the Bulls do not strike out for an out, but that is going to end the inning. We go to the third. It's still ECU with that 3-0 lead. This is baseball on the USF Radio Network, presented by Marathon.
Hi, I'm Misty Wells, Tampa Bay Times outdoor correspondent. I'd like to invite you to check out my new video series called Let's Take It Outside. Every other Thursday, I'll take you on an adventure to a destination in the Sunshine State or beyond. From the water to the woods, discover ways to enjoy the outdoors with your family and friends. To see me live and in action, go to tampabay.com/outdoors.
The Tampa Bay Times, journalism that matters.
It takes 5 years to earn a master's degree. That's the same amount of time it takes to earn a journeyman's license with the IBEW. The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers believe contractors rely on productivity. It's why we require 5 years in the classroom and on-the-job training to become an IBEW Local 915 electrician. IBEW, where passion plus skill locks arms with value. The time is now to hire IBEW electricians.
USF Baseball on the USF Radio Network, presented by Marathon.
We go to the third inning with the Bulls trailing the ECU Pirates. Derek Sharp, Jim Lauk here on a Friday night in Tampa. ECU again on a 6-game winning streak, and that sweep of UCF, which is, from the Pirates' perspective, they hope kind of a tone setter for not just wanting to return to the NCAA tournament, because they do that with great frequency, but go far in it. And based on what we've seen so far of their Friday night starter, Jake Agnos, knowing that they've got a couple other solid arms behind him that the Bulls will see, and the fact is leadoff hitter Brian Packard fouls that one off. Colin Sullivan starts him off with the strike, and that ball is again late, a little bit off. Sullivan took a little bit off that one. Got Packard striking out in the first inning. But you look at the fact that they were able to move their Friday night starter Alec Burleson after he kind of tweaked his hamstring. They decided as a hitter maybe don't overload him, so now he is a guy that's going to pitch out of the bullpen probably every other game. We might see him today. They really do have a strong staff, because of course that ball's fouled off again by the lefty. The first of 6 straight lefties that ECU has in the order, stacked up against the righty Colin Sullivan, 0-2. I'm saying Burleson would be certainly a guy that could start in a regional or in a conference tournament. And as a matter of fact, the first thought was we could see him as a Sunday starter, but here's the 0-2. Stays high in the zone. Good waste pitch by Sullivan, 1-2. They went ahead and announced not too long ago that Jake Kuchmaner will be their Sunday starter. He's a guy who has a recent, perfect game to his credit, so why not? Same as the first 2 pitches in this at bat. Packard fouls it away, 1-2. Just waiting for a fastball that he can time up. Struck out his first time up. Still hitting .342, and he's a career .357 hitter. Unbelievable. And he grounds that one the other direction, foul. Still 1-2. Pirates wearing the black jerseys with purple numbers and gold trim, gray pants, purple stripes, a lot of coloration going on. Bulls with their just classic white unis and the green numbers, gold trim. Oh, that looked like a put away pitch to me, but it was just on the outside corner. 2-2. Great location by Sullivan. Keep an eye on Sullivan's pitch count. You heard Billy Moll mention it in the pregame. He will go as far as the pitch count takes him, I think, even regardless of the score. Ball is fouled off again by Packard, who is personally running up the pitch count here into the low 30s right now. Important series for the Bulls. We've said that several times this year. You really want to try and take 2 or 3 if you can, and that's going to be a tall ask against this Pirates team, but it's the task that they're trying to accomplish. Sullivan tried to get Packard chasing a curveball, no dice. It's 3-2. In fact, so difficult is it to take a series from ECU that No one's done it this year. I'm sorry, sweeping a series. Yeah, any kind of series from ECU, and that's going to be a great at-bat by Packard as he's going to walk on a 3-2 pitch. Just barely out of the zone those last two, but nonetheless a walk to start off the third inning.
Colin Sullivan with that 8-pitch first inning hasn't been quite as effective since then. He's up to 36 pitches now, 2+ innings of work.
And now Lane Hoover, who as a freshman has been in an enviable spot between Packard and Brickhouse, meaning he's going to see a lot of good pitches, would explain the 345 batting average. More or less a singles hitter. Sullivan starts him off with a strike. I hesitated on the ECU hasn't dropped a series because they did lose 2 games in a row, but those were against different teams. The last game of the series against Monmouth and then a midweek game against Air Force. Runner over at first base is Bryant Packard, 2 for 2 on steals this year. Curveball inside, 1-1. He went to Maryland, and that was a big deal because Maryland actually did a pretty good job of holding down the Pirates bats, but then they got great pitching in the last 2 games, so to sweep the series by scores of 9-0, 2-1, and 3-0. And that last game was the perfect game by Jake Kutrunner, who we'll see pitching against the Bulls on Sunday. At least he's scheduled to. Hoover squares as though to bunt. Ball stays outside, 2-1. You're right. Once that first hit was delivered by Thomas Francisco, Colin Sullivan has had nearly the same command. 2-1 at that point. He still hadn't fallen behind a hitter, but he's done it several times since. And there's a bunt in the air, and it's going to actually work out. Sullivan gets it on the short hop and tosses it to Jord for the first out, but the runner advances easily.
Unfortunately, the Bulls just couldn't get there to pick that one out of the air. It was not a very good bunt by Hoover, and he also chased one out of the strike zone to get it, but it worked. Runner on second, 1 away.
And again, not a big power hitter, Lane Hoover, but don't get used to that because now we're back to that part of the order with Spencer Brickhouse. 5 home runs on the season. Flew out his first time up to left field. Tries to take a big cut at that curveball, but Sullivan gets it by him, swinging 0-1. He had a phenomenal series of clutch hitting in that series against UCF, and really, Pirates didn't play a midweek game, one of the very few teams, maybe the only team in the conference that didn't play a midweek game, so they are rested for this one. Runner at second base, and that ball is fouled right of Joe Genord at first. It'll be 0-2. Brickhouse had 4 RBI game in the first one against UCF. After they took the lead, he had a 2 RBI double in the bottom half of the inning, so they answered right back, which is kind of what they did against UCF. He would later add an RBI triple. They were down 3-0 in the second game, and he had a, 3-run homer that put them ahead 5-3. You get the idea. This guy's been coming through in the clutch. But not here. Swings and misses at the curveball, and dandy work by Colin Sullivan to strike out Brickhouse for the second out. Doesn't get any easier with Alec Burleson coming up, but still strikeout number 3, and that is a positive step for the Bulls and for Sullivan. He's thrown 43 pitches, so really not doing a bad job. If you can get Alec Burleson to get Brickhouse and Burleson back to back would be beautiful, and I'm out of bees. Burleson fouls that one off, 0-1. Nice recovery here by the man who's taken over, earned the Friday night starter role based on really his conference tournament performance last year. Talking about Colin Sullivan, he has done nothing to dissuade Billy Moeller, the coaching staff, from taking him out. It's been great, 0-1. Burleson, and that ball is fouled off, 0-2. Got to say, of all the guys that switched to the blonde hairdo, Colin Sullivan, the first time I saw him, had the most, I'm not so sure about this look on his face. He kind of had a dazed and confused look in his bespectacled eyes, and like, it's going to be okay. I think now, a few days later, he's wearing it well. I would never do it personally. 0-2 with 2 outs. And that ball is hit to the left side for a base hit. Zek's going to come up with it, see if he has a play here. It's a decent throw, but it's going to score a run anyway, and it's 4-0. Burleson, the lefty, takes it the opposite way with success. He's an RBI guy as well. Give him 18 and give the Pirates a 4-0 lead.
Beat the shift. If the Bulls had been playing straight away, that's probably routine for Gonzalez, but he was edging over toward the bag at second, and Burleson put it right where the Bulls weren't.
I'm telling you, he is going to be, as a sophomore out of Denver, he is going to be a high draft pick the second that he is able to be drafted. And you could just tell the first time seeing him last year, and he really hadn't done too much at that point in the season, but you could just see it, both pitching and hitting the ball, and that was a masterpiece right there. Now another lefty. Turner Brown looks at a curveball, strike one. 1 run in for the Pirates. They have 3 hits now. Bulls looking for their first. They have struck out 6 times in the first 2 innings. At least they have run up the pitch count of Jake Agnos thanks to that quirky first inning where the first 2 strikeouts were dropped and the Bulls not on base. 1 on base right now for the Pirates. The ball's hit to the right side, and it's going to squeeze through the hole for another base hit. Burleson is going to blow a bubble as he's rounding second, getting to third. Throw is high, could get the runner at second, they don't. Runners on second and third. So a single, and the runner advances to second. The hitter, I should say, Brown, with the throw into third base. Kind of a ambitious throw by Bedrado, but at this point you're trying to get the outs when they're there, and I think from his point of view, he didn't believe that Brown was going to be able to get to second base, but he did. And now you have 2 runners in scoring position instead of just the 1. No one scores in the play, though. Let's see if the Bulls can keep it that way. It's 4-0 in the top of the third. The 6th and final lefty to start off the order here. One who had the first base hit of the game. Thomas Francisco. Curveball low. Might have heard the Pirates dugout over there yelling, "Good job." They're all on the top steps, so were the Bulls. Facing a very, very difficult opponent in ECU. Defending conference champion, defending regional host. The ball's grounded to the right side, but Joe Genord knows it's foul. Tried to scoop it just for fun, but it's 1-1. Pirates have been to the NCAA tournament 15 of the last 20 seasons.
And 29 times overall in their history. Pretty good legacy.
Great program. Absolutely a great program. And of all the conference stadiums that of course, it was the first time, so I've only been to 4 of them, but it was the most memorable experience. 1-1. And that's a nice changeup. Tailing away from the lefty. Sullivan, the first time, gets a swing and a miss on that pitch, and it looks good when it happens. 1-2. So Sullivan hoping to keep it 4-3. Burleson over at third base. Brown at second, both singles in this inning. Francisco, the lefty hitter, down 1-2. Here's the pitch. Hits it to the right side again. Joe Genord, he's going to start to get a little leg weary over there, chasing down foul balls and just missing him. I bet he dives for the next one. 1-2. Number 9, 1-2 on deck for the Bulls. Due up for the Bulls, I should say, Garrett Zeck, who's gotten himself back in the lineup on an everyday basis. Jordan Santos and Kyle Phillips will try their luck at Mr. Jake Agnos. But here, Bulls trying to keep it 4-0 in the top of the third, and that ball's hit well, and it gets a turkey hop, but Santos makes the play, throws it over to first base, so the ball was well hit by Francisco, not all that different from the single, but he is retired 4-3, and the runners, 2 of them, stay stranded. But 1 run in on the 2 hits for ECU. We head to the bottom of the third. It's now Pirates 4, USF nothing. This is Baseball on the USF Radio Network, presented by Marathon.
Fans love baseball and the food that goes along with it, like shareable appetizers, pizza, wings, burgers, and fries. Cisco lives at the heart of food and service, as we are passionately committed to the success of every customer, supplier partner, community, and each one of our 65,000 associates. Follow our trucks to your next great meal. Cisco West Coast Florida is a proud partner of the USF Bulls. Go Bulls!
Best tailgate? It's gotta be burgers. And an ice cold Coke.
Real football y pollo asado.
Mac and cheese.
You need a hot grill.
And an ice cold Coke.
Of course.
Football and Coke. Come on.
It's got to be Coke.
Game day? Race day.
Calls for Coke. You know it.
It's tailgate 101. This is Charlie Strong. Not all fans agree on the best game day foods, but when it's served with an ice-cold Coca-Cola, you know you've got yourself a winner. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, grab one, and go Bulls.
USF Baseball on the USF Radio Network, presented by Marathon.
Bulls fans, when the Bulls win, you win with Papa John's Pizza this season. Get 50% off your regular menu price online order at papajohns.com the day after the Bulls win. Use online promo code USFWins. Papa John's Pizza, the official pizza of USF Athletics. Better ingredients, better pizza. papajohns.com. ECU has a 4-0 lead on the Bulls. Colin Sullivan was strolling along through a very difficult lineup to stroll along through, and that was until he, with 2 outs, 3 batters in a row, reached base, including a 3-run homer by Jake Washer in the second, and ECU just tacked on 1 run there in the third. First pitch the Garrett Zek sees tonight is bounced in, and it's 1-0. Zek comes into the night hitting .255 on the season, homer, 2 RBI. Laying down a lot of sacrifice bunts this year, and that's something that he is certainly capable of doing. Thanks to that strike, 1-1. In fact, Zek had 3 sacrifice bunts in 1 game earlier this week. 2 sacrifice bunts and a walk. That's not going to be a bunt attempt. It's going to be a looked at 90-mile-an-hour strike. And it's 1-2. Jake Agnos pretty sharp out there for the Pirates. And Zek holds off on that put-away curveball and lines it into left field. He held back, and popped it in for the first hit of the night. Great piece of hitting.
You can see the Bulls making some adjustments on that curveball, making better contact, and also not going after pitches in the dirt. Second time through the order will be interesting against Agnos, and Santos will begin that right now.
Yeah, that was great observations there by, and you know that the Bulls coaching staff is outstanding. Dr. Altman essentially serves as their hitting coach, and got to listen in on his last address to the team, and boy, you could see a wonderful adjustment there. Jordan Santos back to the top of the order, and struck out but reached on that error by the first baseman. The sun will not be a factor anymore. It has gone away, swings and misses at the first pitch. I think he mentioned to his team is to make sure you look there and make Agnos adjust to you, not the other way around. These pitchers like to hurry it up if they can. Santos looks at a strike and sure enough steps out of the batter's box, takes an extra step, but he's behind 0-2 in the count. He's not used to striking out that much. At least he's used to walking a lot. 25 times he has struck out 22 and make it 23, 24 actually, because he did earlier. Now he's done it twice here tonight, and he did not lift the bat off his shoulder on that fastball right down the heart. Make it 7 for Jake Agnos. He does have an 11 strikeout game to his credit this year, and he's headed in that direction right now. Kyle Phillips, you really have to mention who struck out already in this game because the first 5 batters did, so just assume that. Ooh, and for the first time, a curveball to start it off. Phillips just looked at that, a beautiful pitch, 0-1. I think Jake Agnos has certainly shown is that he does not get bothered by a base runner whatsoever. Phillips fouls that one back 0-2. Has in the first inning when the 2 pitches were dropped on strike 3s, or would it be strikes 3? Either way, Agnos just got a little bit of a talking to from his guys, a little bit of a pep talk, but he does not appear to need anything like that. He just concentrates on the batter. Of course, as I'm saying that, he goes over to first for the first time. Garrett Zek gets back. 1 out here, bottom of the third. Bulls down 4-0. The hot hitting, on a roll ECU Pirates. Mentioned their sweep of UCF 0-2, and that is too far outside. Phillips manages to not become the 8th strikeout victim. Very barely there, 1-2. Mentioned the sweep against UCF, and just got to realize how impressive it was because of the wins that the Knights have racked up. And that was, as Phillips fouls off another pitch, 1-2, and that was really the marquee starting off the conference slate last weekend series. And UCF, as good as ECU's been, really was a hotter team coming in based on their schedule and who they played. the RPI ratings were not comparable. UCS was in the top 15. ECU's, I think, was 80. I haven't looked at them lately, but I'm sure the Pirates have a much better rating. Phillips swings at one that bounces in and misses, but golly, he was well out in front of that. And that'll be strikeout number 8. Really fooled on that one, and they're 2 away.
Zek able to advance as that ball got away momentarily.
The only positive there, and the runner in scoring position for now, second time tonight. And Joe Genord came up in that situation. His first time up was, to recall, challenged by the fastball, but he became the third person to swing and miss at a curveball for strike 3 there. Let's see if he gets an early fastball from Agnos. There it is, and he fouls it off. Late on that 92 mile an hour, goes out to right field. Softball team would normally be behind us, but they are in Houston about an important series.
1-1 after 3 in Houston.
Really difficult teams that they've started off facing in conference. Tulsa could end up winning that thing again, and Bulls drop 2 or 3 to them. Houston is not much softer of an opponent, so we'll be keeping an eye on that score. 0-1, Agnos to Genord, and there's a curveball. Genord does well to take. 1-1. Agnos now his strikeout count for the season is at 58 through 36 2/3 innings, so it's probably unfair against him early in the game when I said his strikeout stuff's not necessarily there, because his curveball has improved since the last time I saw him, and the fastball is just solid. There's that 91 mile an hour fastball, 1 and 2. He's been getting the curveball for the put-away pitch. Let's see if he goes with that route here. You got Phillips on one that bounced in front of the plate most recently, to avoid being a 9th strikeout here are the Bulls. Genord does that by fouling it off. Fastball that time, 1 and 2. Genord had a couple of home runs in DeLand on Wednesday. Supremely wind-aided first one, but nothing wind-aided about the second one. Straightaway center to the 403 mark. 1 and 2 here. 2 outs, bottom 3, Bulls down 4-0, and he skies that one high. Second baseman Lloyd, shortstop Brown converge, and Brown almost dropped it. Bulls would have scored a run there, but no luck as the inning ends. Bulls do get their first hit, but still looking for their first run. We'll see if Jim Lau can bring it your way. We'll turn it over to Jim here at the end of the 3rd with the score. ECU 4, USF nothing. This has been the USF Radio Network, presented by Marathon.
A real bright future story from the Florida Lottery.
My name is Laura Wilhelm, and I had the great pleasure of working with Rocky D. Bull at the University of South Florida. Whether it's interacting with a child on game day or interacting with the students on campus, I love being a Bull at USF. I want to personally thank Florida Lottery for funding Bright Futures, because without that financial help, I would have never made it to USF Athletics and tried out to be Rocky D. Bull.
View more success stories at flalottery.com/brightfutures.
Join us Saturday, April 13th for the USF football spring game on campus at Corbett Stadium. Touchdown, USF! Admission is free, parking is free. Come get your first look at the 2019 USF football team.
As an offensive coordinator, I want to scare the heck out of the defensive coordinator on every snap.
It's the spring game, Saturday, April 13th, 1 p.m. at Corbett Stadium. Horns up.
USF Baseball on the USF Radio Network, presented by Marathon.
Creating an inspiring outdoor experience for over 20 years, ASI Landscape Management is the proud presenter of this weekend's series against the ECU Pirates. ASI combines unique and sustainable landscape design with an emphasis on exceptional service throughout Central Florida. ASI Landscape Management, enhancing landscape and lives. We go to the 4th. Colin Sullivan's first pitch to Brady Lloyd is high, 1-0. 4 runs, 4 hits, 1 error for East Carolina, 0-1 and 0 for the Bulls. Lloyd walked and scored his first time up, and he takes high again, 2-0. Colin Sullivan went 114 pitches in his last start. He's at 55 right now. And the Bulls bullpen is quiet. You heard Billy Mole in the pregame show saying they have got to get some innings out of their Friday night starter. He's been good in doing that so far this year. Called strike, now 2-1.
Unfortunately, it's sort of gone according to my question to him. Even though his runs allowed might be higher than normal, keep him in.
Swung on and missed on a breaking ball, 2-2. Lloyd started the night at 267. He is a senior, native of Pennsylvania. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And Sullivan, once the signals reset, he'll step off the rubber. 2-2 is rolled out toward short. Gonzalez scoops and throws, and there's one away. John Washer now had the big hit of the game so far, a 2-out, 2-on home run in the second, his 4th of the year. Up with 1 out and the base is empty. Alec Wisely tomorrow night, and TBA on Sunday for the Bulls, with Ben Koff now out of commission for a while. First pitch to Washer is low and away, 1-0.
You know, we learned with the women's basketball team how injuries can just, you still have a lot of talent, but you're never going to be able to replace the people that get hurt. With the Bulls' 3 arms, that is just rough.
1-0, fastball high, 2 balls, no strikes. So Hoffman lost early. Ragsdale lost before anything got started, and now Ben Koff. 2-0 from Sullivan is low, and it's 3-0. Bulls 12-11 on the season, but they have dropped their last 3, and they're 1-2 in the conference. East Carolina perfect 3-0, and that is a strike. 3-1. Umpires tonight, by the way, Doug Williams is working the plate, Mark Heisman at first, Hank Himonen at second, Jason Millsap at third. A conference 4-man crew again. Another good pitch from Sullivan, called strike on the outside corner, now 3-2.
Game always has a more official feel to it when you have 4 umpires. Even though when you have 3, that means they're working even harder.
3-2 pitch on the way, pop foul to the right.
And therefore you should be more impressed, but yeah, you feel like everything gets covered obviously here, and it's a big series. I mentioned Sullivan. I mean, I think he could still go 7 in this game. You could give up 4, 5, even 6 runs against ECU and still be pitching well.
Another 3-2 on the way, just off the plate outside, and that is the 3rd walk allowed by Sullivan. That'll bring up Ryder Giles, the 3rd baseman. He popped up to short his first time, 0 for 1.
Something to keep an eye on with this kid, and I think the Bulls are fully aware of it. He is 2nd in the country with 8 sacrifice bunts. With nobody out, it's a sure thing. With 1, maybe not.
And a 4-run lead as well. They might be trying to add on here. He does square, doesn't offer, and it's outside 1-0. 31st game between the Bulls and the Pirates. East Carolina leading 17 games to 13. Bulls are 7-5 in Tampa. Pirates are 7-5 in Greenville, but it's the neutral site games that's helped decide it. 5-1 advantage there. Runner goes, pop foul to the right and out of play.
One thing I learned last year about the conference is an improved seeding isn't really going to make your route through the tournament much easier or more difficult. It's just about obviously wanting to finish as strong with the record you can to impress the NCAA tournament committee.
A really good 3rd and 4th starting pitcher is what helped you get through that tournament. Here's the 1-1. That's up high, 2-1. First meeting, 1990. Non-conference, obviously. Bulls have won the last 2, but they're going to have to come from behind tonight to keep that streak ahead. Trailing 4-0 here in the 4th. Fastball high, now 3-1. The rankings, there's so many different polls. East Carolina's kind of all over the map. Their rankings are good no matter where you look, but different numbers in each one. We'll run down those in a moment. 3-1 pitch, squares doesn't offer, now it's 3-2. East Carolina is 14 in D1 baseball. They're 13 in Baseball America. They're 18 in the NCBWA. Collegiate baseball has them 16. USA Today is not as enthusiastic. They've got them at 24, and their RPI is a very fine 28. Runner goes again, and it's fouled straight back. 18-6 overall is the record.
So that series with UCF really boosted them up. I want to say they were in the 60s prior to it.
Still 3-2 on Giles. Washer, the runner at first, one away. We're in the top of the fourth. Runner goes again, fouled off again, just to our right.
Best RPI in the conference right now belongs to UConn, 18th.
Bulls, I believe, get UConn on the road this year, right? You got to go up there.
It'll be the end of the regular season, as I recall. So it'll be as warm as it can be, which is positive.
May 10 through 12. That ought to actually be pretty nice up there, I think. You'll enjoy that. A lot of the snow is partially melted by then.
Thanks a lot.
Still 3-2 to Giles.
I hear it's a crowded press box, so we can all warm one another up anyway.
Runner goes again, popped foul, right side. This might be playable. Genord racing over there, but it is going to be up on the berm. And we'll do it again on 3-2.
A lot of kids out there, but all had their heads up, and a lot of them are actually wearing gloves. As I think that was the North Brandon Athletics, the ones in the green and gold for the Oakland Athletics.
Not much room to run and chase out there tonight.
Right.
A lot of people. Another 3-2 pitch on the way. Runner goes again, and guess what? Foul to the right side.
Well, Ryder Giles is officially a pest right now as the number 9 hitter, continuing to run up Colin Sullivan's pitch count.
Still 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, a runner at first. We're in the top of the fourth with the Bulls down 4-0. Sullivan winds and deals, runner goes, and this one's going to stay in play, but it's trouble. Shallow right field. Going out is Santos, and he can't get there, and they do not throw to second. Everybody's safe. I thought they had a play at second, and Gonzalez made a hustling play to get over there and cover. Thought they might get Washer on the force, but they didn't throw it in time. Giles will wind up with a bloop single. And there's 2 on and 1 away for Bryant Packard, who has struck out and walked. Billy Mole is out to talk to Colin Sullivan, who all of a sudden has thrown 75 pitches in this game.
10 pitch at bat, and you're almost better off if he'd have been able to lay down a bunt on that first pitch in hindsight, based on how, of course, you can always do hindsight, but based on how that ended up. And you were right to call it off the bat as being right in a troubled location. I love the fact that Sullivan trusted his fastball there, didn't try and get him to chase something out of the zone, and he ends up getting punished, unfortunately, for it.
Well, here's Packard now, who has scored a run. The Pirates had 3 runs in the second and 1 more in the third.
And to my left, no surprise seeing Michael Kelly over there. I saw him in the jubilant locker room for the men's basketball team last night. That was some video that the basketball program tweeted out. You have to check it out.
It was a lot of fun in that run. We have to turn over our broadcasts on the TV side to ESPNU from here on out, but we had a good run on Bulls Vision. Inside 1-0, 3-0 the record in the postseason for us.
Darn, I have to go to the game as a fan and just enjoy it. I think I could do that. Not that I didn't enjoy doing the broadcast with you. You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying.
1 ball, no strikes.
It will be fun Monday.
Bouncing ball out towards second, might be 2 to second for 1. Gonzalez the turn in time, 4-6-3 double play. Gets the Bulls out of trouble in the fourth. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base. We head to the bottom of the fourth, and the Bulls down 4-0 on the USF Radio Network, presented by Marathon.
Manly Man. Amalie Motor Oil tips its hat to the manly man. Manly Man. You had a beard before it was cool, like in 3rd grade. Manly Man. You get up before the sun because it's lazy and weak. Manly Man, man. And you know that nothing protects your engine better than Amalie Elixir Full Synthetic Motor Oil. Family owned and Tampa Bay grown.
AMALIE, better than it has to be. Amalie.
Amalie Motor Oil, proud sponsor of USF Athletics.
Hi, I'm Misty Wells, Tampa Bay Times outdoor correspondent. I'd like to invite you to check out my new video series called Let's Take It Outside. Every other Thursday, I'll take you on an adventure to a destination in the Sunshine State or beyond. From the water to the woods, discover ways to enjoy the outdoors with your family and friends. To see me live and in action, go to tampabay.com/outdoors.
The Tampa Bay Times, journalism that matters.
USF Baseball on the USF Radio Network, presented by Marathon.
The Florida Lottery has contributed more than $33 billion to support education. Your ticket purchase helps Florida's students have a brighter future. Follow Florida Lottery on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. 4-0 ECU. Their starter, Jake Agnos, has worked 3 innings, allowed no runs, 1 hit. He has walked 1 and struck out 8. And he will face hitters 4, 5, and 6 for the Bulls. Austin Bedrado struck out looking his first time up. If you're just joining us, it was a strange start to the game. Agnos struck out Jordan Santos to start the bottom of the first. And then the ball got away. The catcher threw to first. Ball was lost in the sun. This one popped foul out of play, 0-1. Santos was safe. Then Kyle Phillips swung and missed at a ball in the dirt. Got away from the catcher, and he just couldn't pull the trigger on the throw to first. So the Bulls had 2 strikeouts, runners at first and second, nobody out. That's a low 1-1, but unfortunately for the Bulls, Agnos came back, recorded a couple more strikeouts, so he had a 4 strikeout first inning and now has 8 through 3. 1 ball, 1 strike to Bedrado. That's in the dirt, 2-1. Boy, when he misses low. Catcher Jake Washer has been a busy young man tonight.
His fastball's been so effective, though, consistently low 90s, that he has really, more often than not, pulled the balls with even well out of the zone curveballs.
2 balls, 1 strike on Bedrado. Swung on and missed, 2-2. A softball update from Houston. Bulls batting in the top of the 5th, trailing the Cougars 2-1. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Austin Bedrado, leading off the Bulls' 4th. Fastball high, and the count is full. Nobody on, nobody out for the Bulls, trying to solve Jake Agnos. ECU starter, left-hander. Here's the 3-2 to Bedrado, foul to the left side. That'll be up on the berm on the left side. A little less competition there. Fewer kids seem to gravitate toward the left side. I guess it's because that's the Bulls' home side. Their dugout is always on the first base side, but it seems like the right field berm is always more crowded than the left field one. That is outside, ball 4. Bedrado even did a double take to make sure that was going to be called a ball. And he's aboard with nobody out in the 4th. That'll bring up Brandon Schrepp, who struck out his first time, 0 for 1.
You know, got to go back to the end of that inning. That 4-6-3 double play was fielded perfectly by Santos, and it still required a great throw. And that could turn out to be a big play. If the Bulls can scratch for a run or 2 here, all of a sudden you do have a game, whereas if that had not been turned, you're looking at a steeper hill.
Schrepp 0 for 1 on the night. And he takes a strike. He has become quite a pitcher as well. He's now made 4 appearances out of the bullpen, a total of 3 innings scoreless. So he has contributed on the pitching staff as well as on the offensive side. 0-1, check swing, and he went around. No balls, 2 strikes.
There's that curve once again. Something that Trepp hasn't seen that often this year. The Bulls really haven't faced too many starting pitchers with dandy curves, and O'Shunley got him last week, but there's another lefty who can bring it that way.
Nobody out in the inning, Bedrado on at first. That one gets all the way to the screen, and Bedrado will move up. Bulls have a runner in scoring position with nobody out. Well, we're going to have some basketball in April in the Yuengling Center. How about that? If you didn't see the score last night, men's team beats Loyola Marymount 56-47, third consecutive win in the CBI.
Lowest point total of the year for the Lions. Their defense was fantastic on their top player, Bateman.
1-2 pitch, breaking ball called, strike 3, 1 down. Schrepp, a strikeout victim for the second time tonight. That'll bring up Jake Sullivan, who walked his first time up. So the Bulls will play DePaul on Monday night at 7 o'clock. Tickets through USFBullsTix.com. That is, no matter what happens, the last home game for the Bulls this year. This is an unusual best-of-3 series for the championship. But if it goes 3, both games 2 and 3 will be in Chicago. First pitch inside 1-0.
I was listening to our post game, and Joey Johnson asked Coach Gregory last time he can remember playing a best-of-3 series, and he threw out some kid from the neighborhood. It was a one-on-one between me and him. Yeah.
I heard that on the drive home last night. 1 ball, no strikes. Breaking ball is over, 1-1. Bulls and DePaul had some good games. They were together in CUSA. They were together in the Big East, and I will always remember a game against DePaul from my very first year at USF. Played in the then Sundome. 1 ball, 1 strike on Sullivan, and he'll step out. It was the Bulls' first time on ESPN right before Super Bowl 18. 1-1 pitch, fastball high. They made a big night out of it, part of the sports weekend to celebrate the Super Bowl. DePaul was number 2 in the nation. Ray Meyer was still coaching. And the Bulls took them to the wire. It was 59-50. I actually spent some time with Charlie Bradley today, and we were reminiscing about that game. 10,000 people there, full house. 2-1 pitch. Fastball inside corner called strike 2-2. And what was really neat was everybody was already in town for the Super Bowl, so you had the celebrities out for that game. And I remember directly across in my line of vision that night was James Garner, the actor, who was hot commodity then, you know, Rockford Files and all that.
I watched the Rockford Files.
2-2 pitch, a little nubber back to the mound. Argos throws, and he throws it in the dirt, and everybody's safe. Argos had all sorts of time, fielded the ball cleanly, but then wound up and threw a bullet right at the feet of first baseman Spencer Brickhouse. He picked it all right, but he had to come off the bag to do it. So Sullivan is safe. And now Cliff Godwin is going to come out and talk to the first base umpire, Mark Heisman, but the Bulls have 2 on with 1 out here. Should be an error on the pitcher on the throw. Bedrado, no opportunity to advance. He's still at second, and now they are going to gather the 4 umpires, which when a call has already gone your way is usually not a good sign.
Well, it was Godwin. I saw him. He basically asked the first base umpire if you could at least talk to your guy. So that's all that's happening here. Hopefully it's not a bad sign if you're the Bulls.
All 4 of them are meeting on the infield grass not far from the mound.
Got a good sign from the softball team. Anna Marie Bruni, 2 RBI hit.
Good. Up 3-2. No change and no video review. Boy, we love baseball. So safe at first is Sullivan, and there's runners at first and second with 1 out.
However, did you know that Corey, the ECU play-by-play guy, great guy, told me that he asked if we had a review system. He said they have one there and at Wichita, but they're not able to be used during conference play. So it's outside of conference. He said they've had many reviews already this year.
Oh, goodness. Here's Tyler Dietrich, struck out his first time, and he fouls it off to the right, 0-1. See, in football it can be good because that's when you can tell some stories. We've already got enough time in baseball that I've already given you my James Garner story. I don't need any more video reviews.
Is there any more to it?
No, I hit the highlights on that. 0-1 pitch. Fastball high, 1-1 to Dietrich. Bedrado at second, Sullivan at first, 1 out in the inning. We're in the bottom of the 4th with the Bulls down 4-0.
A lot the Charlie Bradley stories. Man, oh man, that was a time.
Yeah, it was great to spend some time with him today. He was one special player. 1-1 pitch. Breaking ball is high, 2-1. We have seen, I think, more former Bulls basketball players at games this year than ever before. Radenko Dobras is there more often than not. We've seen Martino Brock a couple of times, Fred Lewis, Tommy Tonelli, all sorts of former Bulls watching Brian Gregory's team this year. Breaking ball is up high. It's 3-1.
He might still have, and Agnes has shown the ability to overcome others' mistakes, but he might still be thinking about that bad throw to first.
He did get charged with the error on that play, by the way. And Agnos is up to 76 pitches as well.
A couple of Pirates just jogged out to the bullpen.
3-1. Goes after it and pops it up. Brady Lloyd, the second baseman, edge of the outfield grass, makes the catch. That's a big out for Agnos, who wasn't that far from being on the ropes there, but now he's got 2 outs.
And I think, especially given the knowledge that that 2-strike curveball is coming, it was very wise of Dietrich to swing at that fastball. He just didn't get enough of it.
Here's Nick Gonzalez, grounded out to short his first time, 0 for 1. That, of course, is the downside a lot of times of racking up a lot of strikeouts. Agnos has 9 of them through 3 1/3, but now he's approaching 80 pitches. There's another breaking ball, and that's a called strike, 0-1. So at any rate, the Bulls and DePaul, 7 o'clock Monday night. Last time you will see this team at home this year, so get a ticket. Championship Series of the CBI. 0-1 pitch, soft little line drive into shallow right field. Going back is the second baseman Lloyd, and he makes a terrific over-the-shoulder catch. Gonzalez robbed of what would have been an RBI single, and the Bulls are out in inning number 4. No runs, no hits, 1 error, and 2 left on base. We head to the 5th, the Bulls trailing 4-0 on the USF Radio Network, presented by Marathon.
Lightning fans, do you have a young Bolts fan in your life? Thunderbugs Kids Club, presented by Cheerios, is perfect for the young Lightning fan. Packages include tickets to a Lightning game, exclusive Bolts gear, unique Lightning experiences, including meet and greets and more. Visit TampaBayLightning.com/Kids Club for more information.
At Tampa Electric, we believe knowledge is power. That's why we think it's important for you to know some simple ways to conserve energy and save money, like caulking your windows and weather stripping your doors. You can even earn rebates when you install an energy-efficient heating and cooling system, add insulation, and seal your ductwork. Sign up for a free energy audit and learn more ways to save money and energy. Find everything you need at tampaelectric.com/save. Tampa Electric, more power to you.
USF Baseball on the USF Radio Network, presented by Marathon.
We go to the 5th. It is 4-0 East Carolina. Get all the latest USF clothing and gifts featuring the complete line of Adidas coaches gear. The USF bookstore is open 7 days a week on the USF campus, and you can also shop online 24/7 at www.usouthfloridabookstore.com. A little more on that softball game in Houston. Bulls now leading 3-2. What happened to give the Bulls the 2 runs? Anna Marie Bruni homered over the right field fence, but then running the bases, she passed Des Maldonado, so she was called out. First pitch is inside to Lane Hoover, 1-0. So the Bulls get the 2 runs. Bruni loses the home run, and the out is called, which ultimately took the Bulls out of the inning, but they do lead Houston 3-2 in the 5th. Fastball up high, now 2-0 to Hoover, who's 0 for 1, a ground out and a sacrifice.
Credit the USF softball feed for that specific detail.
There's a strike on the outside corner at USF Softball on the Twitter feed. That's what we follow when we're not able to watch them in person.
Yeah, the box score just called it a 2-run single, and the Houston softball feed just called it a 2-run single, but USF softball got specific.
2-1 pitch, ground ball out towards second. Diving backhanded stop by Santos, comes up throwing, not in time. Hoover will leg out an infield hit. Terrific effort by Jordan Santos, but the throw just not quite in time, and that is hit number 6 on the night for East Carolina.
Oh man, 2 great plays by the second baseman, and just barely, of course, making the snow cone grab to end that last inning was ECU. And Santos, from his one knee, had to throw it, and I give the first base umpire credit. You know he wanted to ring him up because it was such a great play, but he was safe.
Spencer Brickhouse now, the first baseman, 0 for 2, and he takes outside. 1 ball, no strikes.
It was that hesitation, like, it was a great play, kid, but he beat it out.
Brickhouse started the night at .397. He's got 5 home runs. A big left-handed batter. 1-0 is on the corner, 1-1. Want to put in a reminder too, and Derek mentioned it earlier. We're only a week and a day away from your first opportunity to see a USF football practice, and especially if you live in Pinellas County. Make sure you get over to CCC and watch the Bulls on Saturday, April 6th. Then you can see them a second time a week later in the spring game, April 13th at Corbett Stadium. Boy, wait till you go to that spring game, by the way. There are going to be so many things going on outside the stadium and inside the stadium as well. This one popped up to the left side out of play, still 1-2.
I still can't believe you volunteered for the dunk tank. That's going to be really a highlight.
Not me. I will give you a piece of advice if you're going to that game, though. Don't eat for about 24 hours in advance, because you are going to have so many food options you won't know what to do. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Brickhouse. Runner goes, pitch is skied toward left. Long run for Zach, crossing into foul territory, and it will be out of play. So it'll still be 1-2 on Brickhouse. The spring game, by the way, will be at 1 o'clock on Saturday, April 18th. We'll have it on the radio side as we always do. It'll also be a live stream on the Identity TV. But again, if you're in town, we really encourage you to get out. It is going to be a fun day. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Brickhouse. Hoover at first and nobody out in the inning. He's off again. Pitch is swung on and missed. Throw is there in time for the double play. Had to wait for the out call, but Dietrich gunned him down. Hoover is caught stealing. Brickhouse strikes out, and all of a sudden 2 outs, bases empty here in the 5th.
Oh, tremendous double plays in each of the last 2 innings, and I feel the Bulls were owed that one, not by the umpires, just by the baseball gods of the great play that Santos had made prior to, and that was an awesome throw by Dietrich.
Alec Burleson now is 1 for 2, a run driven in, singled his last time up, and he singles this time up, drives it past Genord into right field, and that is hit number 7 for ECU. Turner Brown is next, the shortstop, singled his last time up. He's 1 for 2.
Makes the peg by Dietrich even more valuable, because that would have scored the run more than likely if it got to second base.
East Carolina 3 in the 2nd on a 3-run homer by catcher Jake Washer. They added a single run in the 3rd, and that's where we stand, 4-0 here in the 5th. First pitch from Sullivan misses. 1 ball, no strikes. Derek Sharp and Jay Retcher tomorrow, and then Jay and I on Sunday. What are you going to do on your day off?
Remember what it's like to have a day off. Now we're going to hit Pinellas County myself in the Y4 shirt.
1-0 pitch on the way. Fly ball right field, not deep. Adrado out. Santos coming in too, and it's the right fielder making the catch. And the inning is over. The Bulls turn another double play. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 1 left on base. We head to the bottom of the 5th, 4-0 East Carolina on the USF Radio Network, presented by Marathon.
Manly Man. Amalie Motor Oil tips its hat to the Manly Man. Manly Man. You one time wrestled a bear for $50. Manly Man. You always order the lumberjack breakfast. Manly Man, man, man. And you know that nothing protects your engine better than Amalie Elixir Full Synthetic Motor Oil. Family owned and Tampa Bay grown.
AMALIE, better than it has to be. Amalie.
Amalie Motor Oil, proud sponsor of USF Athletics.
Yingling Traditional Lager. The beer for drinkers who know how to tap into their inner eagle and spread their wings. So prepare yourself for takeoff and let your night take flight. When your lips meet that cold, crisp amber lager, there's no looking back. So fly over the radar. Tonight's about the lager, and this lager is all about soaring higher. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings. DJ Yingling and Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please drink responsibly.
USF Baseball on the USF Radio Network, presented by Marathon.
Bulls fans, when the Bulls win, you win with Papa John's Pizza. This season, get 50% off your regular menu price online order at papajohns.com the day after the Bulls win. Use online promo code USFWins. Papa John's Pizza, the official pizza of USF Athletics. Better ingredients, better pizza. papajohns.com. First of a 3-game series, the Bulls and East Carolina. And USF looking for some offense here. They have just one hit. It belongs to Garrett Zeck. And it will be Zeck that leads off the 5th for the Bulls. He singled to lead off the 3rd, and he takes a pitch low, 1-0. The line on Jake Agnos now 4 innings, no runs, 1 hit. Couple of walks, 9 strikeouts. He just delivered his 80th pitch of the night. 1-0, poked foul to the right side off the end of the bat. It'll be 1-1.
Looking forward to getting more details on the Bruni homer because I was able to actually call her first one. She's more of a slap hitter, but she's added power. She's so fast, I wouldn't be surprised if it was a kind of an in-doubt one.
Popped foul to the right, out of play, 1-2.
Where she might have, just taken off, not sure if it was going to fly out or not, and that's how you overrun somebody.
Well, the good news is the Bulls now leading Houston. We'll keep you up to date on that game as we continue along here. Zeck takes a fastball high, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
The pitcher they've got the 3 runs against, Presley Bell, came in with a .8 ERA. She'd only given up 6 runs all year, so they've got halfway to that total. That's impressive.
3-game series in Houston. 2-2 pitch is on the inside corner, called strike 3. Zeck didn't think so, but 1 down.
Yeah, Zeck was, I think, in every right to think that was going to be too far inside. And even if it was a strike, it's an almost impossible pitch to hit.
Jordan Santos now has struck out twice, 0 for 2. Speaking of softball, while you are on the road in Orlando next weekend, we'll do a bunch of softball here. We'll have 2 Bulls Vision games Friday and Sunday. There's a called strike 0-1 against East Carolina. Saturday will be a YouTube broadcast, so 3 in a row for USF softball next weekend when they return home. 0-1 pitch is lined into right. Diving effort, and the catch is made in right field by Alec Burleson. Well, a couple of really nice defensive plays for East Carolina. This time it's Santos robbed, and there's 2 down.
Well, if he can start to add good outfielder to what he can already do, he might be Player of the Year candidate before it's all said and done. Talking about Burleson, who is a sophomore right now.
Here is Kyle Phillips. He has struck out twice.
Thought that was a single every which way off the bat.
Yeah, it hung up a little bit, but Burleson covered a lot of ground and then laid out for it, made a nice catch. Here's a fly ball, shallow right field by Phillips. Burleson is under this one, makes the catch, and the Bulls go quietly in the 5th. We head to inning number 6. Bulls trail 4-0 on the USF Radio Network, presented by Marathon.
There's something out there for you and me, and the American road is calling, so what's it gonna be? Hey, it's an amazing day, traveling our own highway. No matter where it leads us, we can smile, 'cause it's leaning in the mile.
Marathon, fueling the American spirit.
Yingling Traditional Lager. The beer for drinkers who know how to tap into their inner eagle and spread their wings. So prepare yourself for takeoff and let your night take flight. When your lips meet that cold, crisp amber lager, there's no looking back. So fly over the radar. Tonight's about the lager, and this lager is all about soaring higher. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings. DJ Yingling and Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please drink responsibly.
USF Baseball on the USF Radio Network, presented by Marathon.
Creating an inspiring outdoor experience for over 20 years, ASI Landscape Management is the proud presenter of this weekend's series against the ECU Pirates. ASI combines unique and sustainable landscape design with an emphasis on exceptional service throughout Central Florida. ASI Landscape Management, enhancing landscape and lives. Colin Sullivan still at work for the Bulls, beginning his 6th inning. He'll face Francisco, Lloyd, and Washer, 6, 7, and 8 for the Pirates. Francisco is 1 for 2, and he sends a little bloop into shallow center field. And Gonzalez, covering a lot of ground in shallow center on the second base side, makes the catch, 1 down. Boy, he got there quickly.
And he really was able to mix in a hand wave to make sure that Santos knew that he had it. So a lot of athleticism and speed there.
So 1 pitch, 1 out for Sullivan in the 6th. That'll bring up Brady Lloyd. He has walked and scored a run, grounded out his last time, so officially 0 for 1. Takes a strike, squared again, but didn't offer. He's been doing that off and on most of the nights. No balls, 1 strike.
Big fan of the job that Sullivan's doing tonight. Consistent.
Another strike, 0 and 2.
And you almost have to see the fact that you're going to give up a home run. Unfortunately, it happened in the 3-run variety. But not much else, and good defense behind him, too.
2-strike pitch, swung on and missed. 2 down. Lloyd retired on strikes. And Sullivan now with 2 outs and the base is empty. That is his 5th strikeout of the night. And here's Washer, who's been a thorn in the side of the Bulls. 3-run homer and a walk. Pitch is low, 1-0.
Mentioned they won the 2 low-scoring games against Maryland, including the perfect game. Washer had a 3-run homer in the game that was 3-1, so he comes up with the big ones.
Takes a strike there at the knees, 1-1. 2 outs, bases empty. Top of the 6th, Bulls trailing 4-0. Game 2 tomorrow night. Airtime 6:15. There's another strike, 1 and 2. That will be another exclusive to USF Bulls Unlimited.
My favorite channel.
Lots of USF stuff there, I'm told. 1-2 pitch.
Unlimited amount.
Fastball, 2 balls, 2 strikes. I will always remember signing on that channel. I was in a hotel room in Fremont, California the day before the USF San Jose game. That's inside 2 and 2. 3 and 2 rather. We signed it on with a pre-recorded thing and then led into the inaugural football game and fiddling with my phone to make sure it worked. Called back and it's still 3 and 2, and sure enough it did.
And we haven't stopped fiddling in good and bad ways.
And we haven't signed off yet either.
That's also good.
It's a long 24/7. I'll have a lot of good stuff coming up throughout the spring and summer on that channel. 3-2 pitch, fastball high, and Sullivan gives up his 4th walk.
2 of them to Washer.
And Washer has now been on base all 3 times. Here is Ryder Giles, who singled his last time. He's 1 for 2.
Haven't been many days in the month of March where we didn't have some sort of live event.
Yeah, the basketball.
Exactly.
I mean, who would have thought already 5 postseason basketball games, 3 for the men and 2 for the women, and the men have at least 2 more. Pitch is low and away, 1-0. We've never had a spring like that. When the Bulls beat Loyola Marymount last night, it marked the first time ever they had 3 postseason wins in a single year. Fastball misses, 2-0. Sullivan now is at 102 pitches. His season high is 114.
I like being able to go back and throw up some games that might have some relevance, like the USF team's win against UCLA women, who are in the Sweet 16, and as we speak are only down by 1 to UConn entering the fourth quarter. That's a team the USF beat.
2-0, that's low 3-0. You know, I got to go back and look and see if I can find you a good USF DePaul men's basketball game. I wish I had that 84 game. We weren't taping very much way back then. I'm not sure they had tape recorders then, but there might be one from Big East days. That would be a good one to listen back to. There's a strike, 3-1 to Giles.
Their last meeting, they beat them. You can dig that one up. Probably wasn't too exciting, but we'll play it. Probably didn't have the preeminent impact there at the time, but now we look back on it. It's the last meeting.
3 balls, 1 strike. And that's high, ball 4. Well, most likely the Bulls are hoping Sullivan can get one more out here and finish at 6 innings. He's at 105 pitches now, so there's not a long road ahead of him no matter what tonight. But now he's got to go back to the top of the order and Bryant Packard. Packard grounded into the double play his last time. He's 0 for 2 with a walk. Runners at first and second, 2 away.
Yeah, when you're walking the number 9 guy in this lineup, it's a sign that you might be tiring a little bit.
Well, he's going to get out of it most likely. Here's a pop-up left side. Gonzalez heading over, calling everybody off, makes the catch, and the inning is over. So a nice job by Colin Sullivan, if indeed he is done. He gets through 6 innings for the Bulls. We go to the bottom of the 6th. It's 4-0 East Carolina on the USF Radio Network, presented by Marathon.
Best tailgate? It's gotta be burgers. And an ice cold Coke.
Real football y pollo asado.
Mac and cheese.
You need a hot grill.
And an ice cold Coke.
Of course.
Football and Coke, come on.
It's got to be Coke.
Game day? Race day.
Calls for Coke. You know it.
It's tailgating 101.
This is Charlie Strong. Not all fans agree on the best game day foods, but when it's served with an ice-cold Coca-Cola, you know you've got yourself a winner. Coca-Cola. Taste the feeling, grab one, and go Bulls.
Uber has been doing a ton of great things this last year, and Uber Rewards is going to make you love Uber even more. With Uber Rewards, you'll get rewarded for things you're already doing. Every eligible dollar you spend on rides and Uber Eats earns you points that unlock amazing benefits, like Uber Cash, complimentary surprise upgrades, flexible cancellations, and so much more. Your life is about to get more rewarding thanks to Uber. Get all the info and terms at uber.com/rewards. That's uber.com/rewards.
USF Baseball on the USF Radio Network, presented by Marathon.
Bulls fans, save the date, May 18th at Raymond James Stadium for Bulls Fest 2019, the return of one of the most popular events of the year, benefiting the Selman Mentoring Institute. Join us for dinner, live entertainment, live and silent auctions, and a tribute to Leroy Selman. Bulls Fest 2019 will raise funds to help prepare USF student athletes for the world after college. Presented by R.R. Simmons Construction, May 18th, Raymond James Stadium. Update from Houston, they are going to the 7th. Bulls 4, Houston 2. Lindsey Devitt hit a home run a couple of moments ago. First pitch bounces up there, and it's 1 ball and no strikes as the Bulls come to the plate in the 6th with Genord Badrado and Schreff. Genord 0 for 2, popped up his last time up. Garrett Zeck's single leading off the 3rd is the only hit of the night for the Bulls. That one bounces up there again, 2-0.
Georgina Korik, if she were able to get the win against Houston, of course the home runs, almost home run are big, but she's only thrown 82 pitches in 6 innings. That's a fantastic night already.
There's a strike to Genord, 2-1. Despite only having the 1 hit, the Bulls have had their share of base runners. They've left 5 on base because of walks, errors, and that odd start to the game with the strikeouts. Here's a bouncer out towards short. Nice high hop for Turner Brown, and his throw is in time. Genord retired, and there's 1 out in the Bulls' 6th. That'll bring up Austin Badrado, a strikeout and a walk. He is 0 for 1.
And a couple of great defensive plays, and all the solid ones have been made, with the exceptions of anything that was a drop strike or a chopper to the mound. The people behind him, in other words, have been fantastic behind Agnos.
Agnos now at 91 pitches. He has struck out 10. And he almost hit Pedrato, backed him off the plate. It's 1-0.
Very, very mild throwing in the ECU bullpen. In fact, the young man has a pullover on. Can't even see his jersey number, so it's very mild.
Fastball is high, 2-0. The Bulls a little bit more serious about throwing in the bullpen. I would think that Sullivan may be done after 6, but we will see.
Should be a lefty based on the ECU construction of the lineup tonight.
2 balls, no strikes. Swung on and missed. Pedrato with a big swing, 2-1.
Pirates starting it off with 6 lefties, 1 switch hitter in there, but to get Packard to no hits tonight, including a double play and that pop out to end the last inning was great.
Swung on and fouled straight back by Pedrato, now 2-2. Four to nothing East Carolina. We're in the bottom of the 6th. And a breaking ball called strike 3. That is strikeout number 11, 2 outs, and Brandon Schrepp, who is 0 for 2 on the night.
Matches his season high, and he has been able to go to that a lot tonight. The mixing of pitches is just very, very impressive. There's no other way to say it.
Well, we'll see if the Bulls can get a 2-out rally here as Schrepp comes to the plate. Struck out swinging in the 2nd, struck out looking in the 4th. And the first pitch is a little bit high, 1-0. This is the beginning of a really challenging streak for East Carolina, including this game. They've got 10 of their next 11 on the road. That one misses low, 2-0.
Yeah, their non-conference weekend, it's always one team's turn. They're headed to number 1 UCLA.
2-0 pitch. Hit sharply, and that is into left field for a base hit. Brandon Schrepp has the 2nd hit of the night for the Bulls, and he's aboard with 2 down. Jake Sullivan now has walked and reached on an error, 0 for 1. Now East Carolina, obviously 3 on the road here. Then they get a home game on Wednesday against Duke, but then they've got to play 3 at Houston. They go to North Carolina, Wilmington for a single game. Then the 3 at UCLA, then a road game at Elon. With the exception of that 1 game against Duke, they're not home again until April 18th when they host UConn. Called strike to Sullivan, 0-1.
You see they have a decent traveling contingent. I wouldn't be surprised if those folks go across the country. I mean, they're probably digging in for this whole stretch.
No balls, 1 strike. Lined foul to the left side, an inside pitch, and he was a little early on it. Now 0-2.
Tell you, Agnos last year started 14 games, but the most innings he threw in a game were 5 1/3. So the fact that this is already getting him towards the end of 6, he's gone 7 exactly 3 times this year. He has really developed strongly this season.
No balls, 2 strikes on Sullivan. Hit sharply on the ground between short and third. That'll be a base hit, and the Bulls have 2 on with 2 out. 3rd hit of the night for the Bulls. Back-to-back singles for Schrepp and Sullivan, and now Tyler Dietrich, who popped up his last time, 0 for 2.
Well, the Pirates' big inning all was after 2 were out. And let's see if the Bulls can answer here. Dietrich's been swinging a hot bat lately, finding the gaps for some big RBI doubles in the last week, twice.
Softball has gone to the bottom of the 7th at Houston, leading 4-2, so they need 3 more outs to take the first game of that series. 2 on, 2 out. First pitch to Dietrich is low, 1-0. This marks the first time the Bulls have had 2 men on base since the very beginning in the bottom of the 1st when Santos and Phillips were on after striking out.
Yeah, this has a little bit more legitimate rally feel to it.
Yep, 2 solid hits. Jake Washer, the catcher, out to talk to Agnos. Right-hander continues to throw. And the count 1-0 on Dietrich. Bottom of the sixth, Bulls trailing 4-0, but they've got a little rally going here with 2 outs. Fly ball toward right, hit pretty well, but it's going to be playable. Burleson settles under it, makes the catch, and the inning is over. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 2 left on base. We go to the 7th, still 4-0 East Carolina on the USF Radio Network, presented by Marathon.
When it comes to cancer, defense isn't always the right strategy. You have to be willing to go on the offensive, to attack it relentlessly like Moffitt Cancer Center, standing up to it with the same courage Moffitt sees in every cancer patient they treat. That's why Moffitt is working every day to outsmart cancer. Not just to react to it, but to get ahead of it, which is the best way to win. To see stories of courage, visit moffitt.org/courage. Moffitt, a proud partner of the USF Bulls.
Manly Man. Family Motor Oil tips its hat to the manly man. Manly Man. You had a beard before it was cool, like in 3rd grade. Manly Man. You get up before the sun because it's lazy and weak. Manly Man, And you know that nothing protects your engine better than Amalie Elixir Full Synthetic Motor Oil. Family owned and Tampa Bay grown.
AMALIE, better than it has to be. Amalie.
Amalie Motor Oil, proud sponsor of USF Athletics.
USF Baseball on the USF Radio Network, presented by Marathon.
Bulls have gone to the bullpen for left-hander Connor Eason. He will come out to pitch the 7th. So the final numbers on Sullivan: 6 full innings, 7 hits, 4 runs, all earned, 5 walks, 5 strikeouts, 106 pitches, and 71 4 strikes. And now the left-hander Eason will come out of the bullpen, making his 8th appearance. He's 0-1, a 4.26 ERA. 5 runs, 3 earned in 6 1/3, 7 walks, 3 strikeouts. Opponents hitting .304 against him.
And I can tell you, this is kind of a reward for the other night. He came out and threw strikes. He featured a nice curveball that was fine in spots against Stetson, helped keep the Bulls in the game. I know he allowed a run, but he was throwing the ball well, and that's what they're looking for. A couple more reliable arms out of the pen. Schrepp has actually kind of emerged as number 3 behind Alvarez and Lyle, but Eason right now could be a candidate to be that 4th.
That was a wild one at midweek in DeLand. Bulls falling 10-9. They had a 5-0 lead early, gave up 7 in the 2nd, and never quite made it back.
And I should mention Yeager would be another bullpen arm, but who knows, he could end up being a starter soon as Sunday.
Lane Hoover will lead it off. Singleton was caught stealing his last time up. Hoover, a .345 hitter, and this is lefty versus lefty. Remember, East Carolina just stocked their batting order with left-handers against the righty Sullivan. And the first pitch from Eason goes behind Hoover and all the way to the backstop, 1-0.
Hoover didn't even flinch, doesn't seem bothered by that.
1 ball, no strikes. Top of the 7th, Bulls trailing 4-0. Alec Wisely tomorrow, airtime 6:15. Inside, 2 balls, no strikes. Squares to bunt, doesn't offer, and takes a strike, 2-1.
You would imagine that Willie Mull will use as many lefties as he can out of the pen, and that actually probably increases the odds that Yeager becomes the starting pitcher in Sunday's game, but we just don't know.
2-1 pitch on the way. That's outside, 3-1. It would seem unlikely that we would see Nelson Alvarez unless the Bulls can turn this score around. I'm not sure Alvarez would get some time tonight with the team behind, but we'll find out. 3-1 pitch, almost hit him, ball 4, so not a good start for Connor Eason. Spencer Brickhouse now, he's 0 for 3, has struck out in each of his last 2 appearances.
but a very, very dangerous hitter. And again, he was the guy that came up with all the clutch hits, not all, but a lot of clutch hits to ensure the sweep against UCF. None of those games were locked up really until Brickhouse put them away for the most part.
First pitch from Eason is inside, 1 ball, no strikes. Well, this has been one of the challenges of the Bulls pitching staff. There have been a lot of walks. Collectively, they've walked 103 in 203 innings, so that's about an average of 4.5 or so per game. 1-0 pitch is low, 2-0.
Yeah, this is not the Easton we saw 2 nights ago, unfortunately, and Mole's going to have a little chat with him.
Yep, Billy Mole out to talk to him as the Bulls get a right-hander up in the bullpen. As Eason has opened with a walk and is now behind 2 balls and no strikes on Brickhouse. Bulls have been out hit 7-3 here in this first of a 3-game series. Next weekend, teams will reverse roles a little bit. Softball on the road right now. They'll be home against East Carolina. And Derek and the baseball team will be in Orlando against UCF, and we will also work in a public football practice next weekend around softball, so we're going to have a busy weekend as always. We will be following men's basketball. They will finish one way or the other no later than Friday, April 5th. 2-0 pitch from Eason, almost hit him again, 3-0.
Jim Lighthall will be calling those games in Chicago, or when I say games, game or games.
Yeah, it's a different format, that's for sure. Best of 3. First one in Tampa, second in Chicago, and if needed, third in Chicago. There's a strike from Eason, 3-1.
I like that Eason wants to get right back on the mound. His delivery looked easy there. It hasn't been so easy up until that point.
I guess they're playing those games in Chicago at Alumni Hall. 3-1 pitch, inside, ball 4. And runners at first and second with nobody out for Alec Burleson, who is 2 for 3 with a run batted in. Another left-handed batter. There's a righty on deck. And I got to believe Eason's got to get this guy to stay in the game.
This will be the ultimate test because Burleson's only walked 5 times all year. He likes to swing that bat up there. He's done it well tonight.
Cliff Godwin pulled him down the third base line to give him some instructions before he got into the batter's box.
Maybe that's what he said. Listen, man, I know you like to swing the bat, but make him come to you first.
Crowd has really hung in here tonight. It's a pleasant night, but nobody has been heading out early. There's a great crowd this evening. Burleson squares to bunt, pulls it back, hits it to Genord to second for 1, on to first, a 1, make it 3, 6-3 double play. Bulls' third double play of this game, and there's 2 down.
Well, that was just a tremendous play all the way around, and by Genord. I mean, just not rushing it, knowing exactly the play to be made. And I said it the other night, I wouldn't even call him an underrated first baseman anymore. I think people know exactly how good of a first baseman defensively he is. It's just that his hitting overshadows it.
Brickhouse forced at second. Moving on to third was Hoover. 2 outs in the inning, and now Turner Brown, who's 0 for 3, and he takes a strike. So the Bulls have double plays in 3 different innings. Got him out of trouble 2 times, and see if it does so again in this inning. 2 outs and a runner at third, the 0-1. Fly ball right field, and that ought to do it. Pedrato a couple of steps in, and that inning turned around quickly in the Bulls' favor. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 left on base. We head to the bottom of the 7th. Bulls down 4-0 on the USF Radio Network, presented by Marathon.
When it comes to cancer, defense isn't always the right strategy. You have to be willing to go on the offensive, to attack it relentlessly like Moffitt Cancer Center, standing up to it with the same courage Moffitt sees in every cancer patient they treat. That's why Moffitt is working every day to outsmart cancer. Not just to react to it, but to get ahead of it, which is the best way to win. To see stories of courage, visit moffitt.org/courage. Moffitt, a proud partner of the USF Bulls.
Hey, Bulls fans! When the Bulls win, you win with Papa John's Pizza. This season, get 50% off your regular menu price online order at papajohns.com the day after the Bulls win. Use online promo code USFWins. Papa John's Pizza, the official pizza of USF Athletics. Online offer valid at participating locations. Better ingredients, better pizza. papajohns.com.
USF Baseball on the USF Radio Network, presented by Marathon.
Jake Agnos is done for the night. 6 innings, no runs, 3 hits, 2 walks, 11 strikeouts, 104 pitches. And coming in will be Sam Lanier. Lanier is a right-hander. He's 1-0 on the season, making his 10th appearance, all in relief. He has a couple of saves, a 3.75 ERA. So both starters wind up going 6 innings. And now Sam Lanier first out of the bullpen for ECU. He's going to face 8, 9, and 1, Gonzalez, Zek, and Santos. The Bulls have 3 hits in this game, all singles. Zek in the 3rd, Schrepf and Sullivan back-to-back in the 6th, but both of those hits did come with 2 outs, and the Bulls were unable to get anything going. Gonzalez is 0 for 2, popped out to short his last time up. Couple of big home runs in this game. Actually, one big home run, the 3-run shot by Washer in the 2nd. East Carolina got their 4th run and an RBI single by Alec Burleson. Gonzalez steps in, Lanier ready to go. First pitch in the dirt, 1-0. We'll look at that baseball, got scuffed up a little bit. And they'll take that one out of play. 1 ball, no strikes on Gonzalez. Billy Mole has a chance at a little milestone this weekend. If he can get 2 wins, he will have 50 as a head coach. 48 and 33 since taking over from Mark Kingston. 1 ball, no strikes. There is a strike, 1-1. We were doing a game early in the season, Derek. You had to be away with women's basketball. Josh Appel and I were doing it, and text comes in as we were doing the game from Mark Kingston saying he was listening.
Oh, that's great.
Inside, 2 balls and 1 strike, and giving Appel all sorts of grief, as you can imagine. Good to hear from him, though. We enjoyed our time with Coach Kingston here. 2 balls, 1 strike on Gonzalez. Bounced out towards short. Brown throws across in time. Gonzalez retired, and there's 1 out in the Bulls' 7th. Garrett Zek now 1 for 2, singled and struck out.
Curious about Spencer Brickhouse being taken out of the lineup. We'll see what happens when he gets with Dusty Baker now in his spot playing center field.
Yeah, they did make a couple of changes, didn't they?
Burleson now moves from right to first, and then basically Hoover from center over to right field, I should say. So Brickhouse out of the lineup, their big number 3 hitter. Interesting.
First pitch is low. 1 ball, no strikes.
Hope nothing's wrong with him, but that's a bat you do not take out of the lineup ordinarily.
So we'll reset the ECU defense in a minute here with 3 changes defensively. 1 ball, no strikes to Zek. Swung on and missed, 1-1. So Baker off the bench and now in center. Hoover from center to right, and Burleson from right field to first base. 1 ball, 1 strike on Garrett Zeck, 1 out, base is empty. That one is low, 2-1.
Sam Lanier has, entering the season, appeared in 7th most games as a pitcher in school history, so he's pretty much used to coming out there every day.
Already his 10th of this year. That ties him for the team lead, 2-1. And the fastball is on the inside corner, 2-2. Softball has won tonight, 4-2 the final. They beat Houston. Game 2 tomorrow night. So that moves them to 2-2 in conference play. 2-2 pitch, breaking ball just outside, and Zeck laid off at 3-2.
It's a tremendous win for softball to come back against Houston from what was a strange sounding play, take the lead. Marie Bruni thought she had homered, but overran the hitter, and they still win 4-2. That's great.
3-2 pitch is called strike 3. That is the 12th strikeout for ECU pitching. Top of the order, Jordan Santos now lined out to right his last time up. He's 0 for 3.
And they've got a couple other good arms in that pen. Evan Boliva has also appeared 10 times and grabbed a couple of saves. They have 3 pitchers with 2 saves apiece. Lanier, this guy, and the other one being Burleson.
Yeah, it's interesting. They have 7 saves as a team, and that's spread out over 4 pitchers. There's a swing and a miss by Santos, 0-1. No balls, 1 strike. We will see Tyler Smith, who is 2-0 on the season, in the Saturday game. Pop foul to the left. No balls, 2 strikes.
And you feel the Bulls will have a better chance to score against him. And now, of course, Agnews out of the game. But the fact that they've been able to, really, it seems like this year, whenever the Bulls have walked somebody, they've scored. Tonight, it's only happened once. The first guy who walked in the 2nd inning.
No balls, 2 strikes. Popped up, left side, shallow left field. Packard coming in, and he juggles it but makes the catch, and the inning is over. The Bulls go out in order. Derek will take you through the 8th and the 9th. After 7, ECU 4, USF nothing on the USF Radio Network, presented by Marathon.
Make it count when driving. Make it count when flying. Make it count when traveling. Make it count when giving back. It's Make It Count rewards for Marathon. You earn points every time you fill up or make select purchases at Marathon. You save on gas, airfare, hotels, or support the environment. It's easy to sign up. Text JOIN to 40244. So what should you do right now? Sign up and make it count. Marathon, fueling the American spirit.
Yingling Traditional Lager. The beer for drinkers who know how to tap into their inner eagle and spread their wings. So prepare yourself for takeoff and let your night take flight. Liftoff. When your lips meet that cold, crisp amber lager, there's no looking back. So fly over the radar. Tonight's about the lager, and this lager is all about soaring higher. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings. DJ Yingling and Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please drink responsibly.
USF Baseball on the USF Radio Network, presented by Marathon.
Through 7 innings, the Bulls trailing at 4-0. The Jake Washer home run in the 2nd inning. Obviously, the big blow here. You still have to be impressed at the Bulls being able to hang in this game and, more importantly, keep ECU from blowing it out. It's a team that seems able to do that. It's really been double plays, conventional, 2 of them, and then 1 a strike him out, throw him out, that have really littered the middle innings of the game, the 4th, the 5th, and the 7th. At each point, seeming like ECU could be on the verge of ending this thing, and instead, not the case. So it's Connor Eason in there for another inning, as he got helped by one of those double plays after walking the first two, and that's why I mentioned, as we're getting towards the end of the last inning, that the Bulls have been able to avoid that from becoming a worse situation. It's just one of the 7 batters who've walked tonight for ECU have scored. It seems like, I know there's no stat for this, maybe there is, but it seems like it's at least 50% of the folks that walk come in. Not tonight. That's been key. And a pinch hitter gets a hit to start things off here. Bryson Worrell comes off the bench as Cliff Godwin has a lot of people he can use on that ECU side. I remember that from last year, rivaled only by Wichita as far as getting a lot of different batters out there when you can mix it and match it. And after starting off the game with 6 straight lefties against the righty Colin Sullivan, who went the first 6 innings, against Connor Eason, he brings in a righty, Worrell, and he singles to right to lead off here in the 8th. Now it's another righty. Lloyd's going to drop a bunt down, and it's a perfect killed bunt, and Dietrich's going to have to make a tough play to get it. What speed there by Lloyd. Almost beat that out. That looked like a sure out, if not also a sure sacrifice, but it became anything but that with the speed of Lloyd still 1 away. Good play by Dietrich. Had to sort of acrobatically throw the ball over the head of the very speedy Brady Lloyd. So Lloyd advances Worrell, the pinch hitter, over to second base. Worrell. He was Worrell last year. And actually, it's easier for us from USF perspective to call him Worrell. Samantha Worrell, a softball player with the team to last year. Outside Eason there to the very dangerous number 8 hitter in this lineup, Jake Washer. And the first things we said when we signed on today was most lineups get a little bit less precarious towards the back half. Not necessarily with these ECU Pirates. He has the big hit of the day, a 3-run homer and 2 walks, and is ahead 1-0 here. Good inside corner fastball by Eason. 1-1. So Washer hitting 256 on the season, 16 RBI. They have just got a load of eye-popping offensive numbers, and really the Bulls have done a good job of holding the Pirates to 4 runs. Mostly Colin Sullivan's working some good defense as well. Eason, who tries the curve. Dietrich does a good job to block that. Keeps the runner at second. It's 2-1. Bulls have the heart of their order coming up in the 8th, so it'll be the first time that portion of the order has come up not against Jake Agnos, which will be fun to see. Still Bulls trailing it here in the top of the 8th, 4-0. Eason looks back. Worrell delivers, and there's a chopper to second. Jordan Santos has to wait for it. Only plays to first base, and he makes it for out number 2. He has played a good, smooth second base tonight, not only on the grounders, but on some tricky fly balls, and there's 2 away. Worrell advances over to third. Worrell, sorry. If you're wondering about him maybe stealing there, has not attempted one this year. Now it's to the bottom of the order. And Ryder Giles, a freshman who is slotted into that number 9 role as they look to get production from a trio of freshmen, the Pirates. Looks at a fastball, outside corner, 0-1. Eason delivered a couple of nice change-ups in his outing earlier this week, just 2 nights ago against Stetson, and trying to mix up his pitches a lot better here in his second inning of work. And there's a change-up, swung on a miss by Giles, who walked his last time up, a bloop single. That was one of those innings. We mentioned 3 of the last 4 having double plays turned by the Bulls, including a strike him out, throw him out. That was the first time where you thought, oh, here it goes. And he gets Brian Packard to hit into a 4-6-3 double play. That was the first time when the Bulls were really keeping the score down, as it were. I got to correct myself. That 3rd inning, the 1 run that did score was someone who walked, but still 5 others have walked and not scored. Eason goes with the curve there on an 0-2 pitch. Dietrich does a good job to block it, 1-2. Maybe a pitch you don't try with a runner at second base, but you think about advancing if you're a runner on second base, but you can't chance coming home there. 1-2. The runner being Worrell, who led off this inning with a pinch hit single. 1-2 to the number 9 hitter. And that is a beauty of a curveball, but a little bit low in the zone. Giles really didn't have much conception of swinging at it. 2-2. Update from earlier, we mentioned a team that the USF women defeated earlier this year when they practically had their whole team. UCLA was giving UConn a game. UConn ended up winning it just not 69-61. Oh, there's a nice fastball right down the heart. Inside corner, beautiful pitch by Connor Eason. And the Bulls continue to keep the Pirates off the board for the last 5 innings. Now let's see what the heart of the order can do as we head to the bottom half of the 8th. It's still ECU 4, the Bulls nothing. This is baseball on the USF Radio Network presented by Marathon.
Manly Man. Amalie Motor Oil tips its hat to the Manly Man. Manly Man. You one time wrestled a bear for $50. Manly Man. You always order the lumberjack breakfast. Manly Man, man. And you know that nothing protects your engine better than Amalie Elixir Full Synthetic Motor Oil. Family owned and Tampa Bay grown. AMALIE, better than it has to be. Amalie.
Amalie Motor Oil, proud sponsor of USF Athletics.
A real bright future story from the Florida Lottery.
Hi, my name is Sam. I work at event management at the University of South Florida. Because of Bright Futures, I was able to take this role at USF Athletics and focus on something that I'm more passionate about. Because I played soccer and baseball my whole life, now I get to see what really goes on behind the scenes of college athletics. I just want to take time to thank the Florida Lottery, giving students just like myself plenty of opportunities to do exactly what they want to do in college instead of having to stress where money's going to come from.
View more success stories at flalottery.com/brightfuture.
USF Baseball on the USF Radio Network, presented by Marathon.
Running out of time, Bulls have done a nice job, but they look to dent the scoreboard here in the bottom of the 8th inning. And they'll have Kyle Phillips, Joe Genord, and Austin Pedrado with which to try and do that. Eason ends up in those 2 innings. Who knows, he may get a shot at a third, but right now, sitting on just 25 pitches, 1 hit and 2 walks, and that strikeout was his first. Colin Sullivan went the first 6 tonight. Struck out 5, did walk 5, but he had only 2 of those folks that walked scored. He did give up 4 runs, which, again, against this team, is really not that bad. Lanier in there for a second inning, and Phillips hits one. Burleson fields it at first. It's going to be a tough scoop, but he makes that play, and there's 1 away. Phillips hit that ball with looked like a pretty good spot, but there's 1 out.
Really great toss by Burleson. Got that ball up high, hit Lanier in stride, and they wound up getting Phillips by about a step.
So he's made a couple of nice plays in right field, including a running catch, and then he moves to first base. Little that Burleson can't do. You look at his, of course it's high school and that, but you look at his pitching and hitting numbers, this guy is a star in the making. We're watching play first base now for ECU. Of course, the Bulls have a star first baseman in their own right, Joe Genord. He looks at a ball low, 1-0. So righty on righty for the first time for Joe. And seeing fastballs tonight. ECU not afraid to go after him. Probably in a 4-0 game. Continues to not be. That ball's a little bit inside, 89 mile an hour. From Lanier, who's mostly a fastball, curveball guy. Got a couple of heaters here, but both have gotten away from him. Let's see if he gives something to Joe on 2-0, and it's tapped foul towards the third base side. Giles lets it go away. Had to play Lanier. Gave up 2 runs early in the season in the game against Monmouth, but in 3 of his last 4 outings has not surrendered a run. The outlier being the game against UCF. That was the one that ECU had the easiest going in, winning 13-6. 4-0 here, and here's the fastball dipping in against Genord. He swings and misses, 2-2. 1 out, bottom of the 8th inning. The Pirates lead USF 4-0. Those were confounded by Jake Agnos, who struck out 11 on the night. Lanier delivers on 2-2. Genord hits it well past the third baseman for a base hit. Joe got every piece of that one. And the Bulls get a runner on with 1 away. A couple guys out there in the ECU bullpen. Mentioned Lanier's outings of late. None of them are very long, and you would think that we're going to see at least 1 more arm out of that pen. Mentioned Lanier being one of the 3 guys with 2 saves, but no 3-inning saves. Now let's hope the dulcet tones of Christopher Cross carry Austin Pedrado to a hit here. By the way, that was Genord's first of the game. 1 for 4. Pedrado's walked once and struck out a pair of times in his 3 plate appearances. Lanier zings it over to first baseman Alec Burleson. Field at regular depth and breadth, if you will, here. Austin Pedrado, the lefty for the Bulls. So the fastball right down the heart. 0-1. Pedrado would like to try and get ahead in counts if he can. He's a patient hitter, but then he knows when he's got to swing the bat. Hitting .278 on the season thus far. Lanier looks over at first base, but Genord is basically pegged to the bag. Pedrado hits it that way, but it's foul. 0-2.
Yeah, you wouldn't think the Bulls would take many chances on the base paths right now, down 4 late in the game. Can't take a chance on giving away any outs.
So both teams' pitchers, when they've had runners behind them, have done a good job of buckling down. Pirates have actually stranded 8 runners, just 1 more than the Bulls. Which doesn't necessarily make sense with a 4-0 Pirates score, but the Bulls have gotten some base runners on today. Not going to happen here with Austin Pedrado as he looks at a curve that ends up high in the zone for a called strike 3. That was a beauty, 2 away. 3rd strikeout of the night from Pedrado, and now Brandon Trepp will look to avoid the same fate. He struck out his first 2 at-bats against Agnos and then singled hard against him the last time. He can certainly get a hold of one. We've seen him homer in a key spot early this season. Turns out it's his only homer of the year, but he's getting more and more opportunities to hit. You can see him getting more comfortable up there. Curveball stays out of the zone. Good eye by Schrepp. 1-0. Genord at first base with 2 away. Bulls do have just 4 hits compared to the 8 for the Pirates. Lanier out of the stretch. Almost pegged Schrepp there with an inside fastball. It's 2-0. Jake Sullivan on deck. Singled and walked today. He's had some good ABs. Actually reached his other time on that chopper that Agnos threw wide at first base. Trepp taken all the way there on a low pitch. Now it's 3-0. 8 base runners here, so I'm guessing he's taken here. In a 4-0 game. A subtlety there. Maybe if it's 3-0, he's swinging away. 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th. Let's see indeed what happens on 3-0. He's looking the whole way at a ball inside. Schrepp very kindly towards the home plate umpire, waited till he got the call, and it's a walk.
And it's good to be patient. The Bulls need base runners right now. This feels almost like a one-sided game, but it's really not. I mean, you look at Sullivan up at the plate now, a guy that can hit the ball out of the park. He gets a hold of one. You could be looking at a one-run game in just moments from now.
And second baseman is basically in back of second base, leaving that right side open for Jake Sullivan. Strange defensive alignment from Lloyd. And the ECU coach is pointing everyone towards the left side of the infield, basically. Left side of the diamond, and that curve ball is low. 1-0. Lanier struggling to find the zone right now. He had just walked 4 in 12 innings while striking out 12 coming into today. Got the intel that if it's the head coach Godwin going out there, there's going to be a change. It's the pitching coach, so we'll let you know probably after this at bat. Either way, hopefully it's not the end of the inning, and there's another ball. 2-0. So now the same situation as last time, and that is going to be not the head coach coming out. So this will just be a talk. Dan Roselle on a 2-0 count. First and second, 2 outs. In the bottom of the 8th, Bulls trailing at 4-0, and the Bulls have swung away in similar situations like this throughout the course of the game. I remember Tyler Dietrich doing to end that was the 6th inning with a couple runners on base. 2 of the 7 that the Bulls have stranded out there. Dietrich on deck. I think you got to take until you see a strike. If you're Jake Sullivan, it's 2-0. Long mound conference here.
Waiting for the home plate umpire to come out. They do have a right-hander throwing in the bullpen. He hasn't been up very long, so I'm sure part of that is to try to get him a little bit more time.
Pitching coach has eyes in the back of his head because right when the home plate umpire got to about 5 feet away, either that or they were just the pitcher, the catcher, and the coach saying blah, 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 tell me when he's coming out. 2-0. Big spot here. Bulls still in it. As Jim just said, it's feeling like a one-sided game, but that can change any second now. Lanier wasn't sure what to do there, so he stepped off the mound. Bulls trying to stay above 500 with a win here today. And he is swinging away on 2-0, fouls it off. Regular fastball at 8 miles an hour. Good pitch to hit, but he was a little late on it. Trying to see who's out there in the USF bullpen. We'll probably see a third arm. The Bulls have really gotten as much as you could hope for pitching-wise tonight. It's 4-0. 2-1, 2 outs, 2 on though. Bottom of the 8th. Here's the pitch to Sullivan, and that's a ball low. 3-1. Fastball had some sinking action on it, but it sunk out of the zone. Sullivan's going to look for one to hit here. If not, he'll probably lay off. Here's the big one. 3-1. The pitch, and it's inside. Ball 4. Bases are loaded. 2 walks here in the inning.
Tying run to the plate. How about that?
Absolutely. Tyler Dietrich coming up by hook or by crook. It doesn't matter. Great job. Mentioned with Shrep being patient before, and now Sullivan. And patiently, Cliff Godwin is not coming out. Or maybe he is. He is on the top step, and he's twirling his stopwatch. No, they're going to stay with Lanier, who's having issues now. The Bulls hope to take advantage. Tyler Dietrich steps out of the box. Lanier adjusts his jersey, lifts his arms, takes a deep breath. As I'm sure a lot of people in the crowd are doing right now at this pivotal moment in the game. Bases loaded for the Bulls. Trying to get back into it. First pitch to Dietrich's hit, and it jumps up and grabs the third baseman. He's going to try and outrun the runner, and he got him. Wow, what a play there by Giles, and he gets greeted by a horde of folks out of the dugout trying to avoid the tag as much as he could with Shrep, but he just gets pegged. Did a great job of trying to slide out of contact, and the Bulls strand 3. Dietrich got good contact on that ball. Looked like it had a chance to squeeze through the infield, but instead the freshman squeezes it, and the threat for the Bulls ends with nothing. We head to the 9th. It's still ECU 4, USF 0. This is baseball on the USF Radio Network, presented by Marathon.
Hey, Bulls fans, Ron Diaz here. And if you need to sell your home for the most money in the fastest time frame, the only names you need to remember are the Duncan Duo at RE/MAX, proud partners of USF. The Duncan Duo can give you an instant cash offer for your home, or guarantee to sell your home in 29 days, or they will buy it. Trust the agents that have thousands of 5-star reviews and have sold over $1 billion worth of real estate. Go to DuncanDuo.com or call or text 813-359-8990 today.
USF Health is the largest academic medical center in West Central Florida, a place where discoveries are made. The future generation of professionals are trained, and nearly 900 specialists come together because of you. USF Health, making life better.
USF Baseball on the USF Radio Network, presented by Marathon.
Richie Cruz is the new pitcher for the Bulls. Before we tell you his numbers here to lead off the 9th inning, more on that play. I mean, that felt like a base hit off the bat, first of all, by Tyler Dietrich with the bases loaded. But to get to that ball, first of all, for a freshman, and then to have the wherewithal to make the play he did. It's disappointing for the Bulls because they've been this close now several times tonight, but that was as good of an opportunity as they had, and it was another great defensive play.
It really was, because he had nothing else. He couldn't come home with it. He wouldn't have had enough time to go to first. And unfortunately, you know, you think about this game for the Bulls where they've only got 4 hits. They haven't had a lot of offense. They've now left 10 on base in this game, and of course 3 of them in the 8th.
Now it will be Richie Cruz to look and keep this close, and well, you feel like that might have been the big opportunity for the Bulls, but you still got to try and do your job from a pitching standpoint. If you are USF, Richie Cruz has appeared in 11 games, tossed 16 2/3 innings, striking out 14, walking just 5, 0-1 with a 2.16 ERA. Did take the loss just a couple of nights ago. Didn't throw too many pitches in that game. Came on for Pat Dudikin in the 2nd inning and was charged with the loss, although all of his runs were unearned. And he will not be facing an easy part of the order. Not that there's a necessarily a really easy part of the order. Brian Packard leads it off back to the top of the order, and he looks at a strike on the outside corner from the sidearm throwing, sometimes righty, 3/4 arm throwing righty, and that's fouled off. Packard has fouled off a lot of pitches here today. He has gone 0 for 3, which is quite some work by the Bulls. Hit into that double play, did walk. Seen his batting average dip to 333 again. This was a kid who hit 402 last year. I'm sorry, 406. Oh, Cruz thought he had a 3-strike strikeout, but ball was just low and outside, 1-2. So a great bunch of at-bats strung together by the Bulls in that inning. And it just ends up in disappointment. Ooh, man, Cruz again testing that outside corner of the strike zone, just missing. 2-2. It'll be Gonzalez, Zek, and Santos scheduled to hit for the Bulls. We do have a couple of defensive replacements, possibly for Gonzalez. You may see a pinch hitter. Thinking Chris Chatfield possibly. Now 3 balls in a row delivered by Cruz on the outside corner, and that one was the furthest away of the 3, to be honest. A couple leadoff walks here tonight. Want to avoid it here if we can. That ball's tapped to Gonzalez at short. Gets to it quickly and then has to make the throw, and he does. White Packard almost threw his helmet down. He is a guy who's not used to going hitless, and the Bulls have put him there, and there's one away. Gonzalez showing some serious ability out there. Sure, there are not going to be many games this year where their leadoff hitter Packard goes 0 for 4, so good job by the Bulls there anyway. Now it's the number 2 batter, Lane Hoover, freshman on the left side. Right, Cruz is not getting that outside corner. He tries to drop it in there to another lefty, 1-0. Hoover has an infield single. That was that outstanding play by Santos that almost retired Hoover. So he basically used his wheels to get on base that time, 2-0 ahead in this count. Walked his last time up around a sacrifice bunt. So officially that makes him 1 for 2 tonight. It's a nice sweeping strike by Cruz. Seemingly a guy that can throw, say, upper 20s in the pitch count the other night and still be okay to pitch 2 nights later. In fact, I stand corrected, 2-2. Nice fastball again. He actually threw 53 pitches, so he really does have one of those rubber arms. 2 innings, 53 pitches. We'll try to get Hoover chasing that sweeping curveball. Stays outside, 3-2. So it'll be Dusty Baker batting for Brickhouse in the 3 spot. And we hope Brickhouse is okay. Didn't see what happened, if anything, to him. Cruz gets a strikeout on a 3-2 pitch. Drops in a curveball that Hoover showed no interest in swinging at, and there are 2 away. So now it'll be Dusty Baker. No relation, if you're wondering. Baseball fans out there. Hitting 214. He's taken part in all but, he's taken part in about 75% of their action, but only with 8 starts, so more or less a pinch hit guy, and that's what he's doing here tonight. He does have a homer and 6 RBI, and he looks at a ball well outside by Cruz. The Bulls look like they'll be able to get away without using their closer in this first game. That'll be good that Nelson Alvarez will be available for what we hope is a safe situation Saturday and or Sunday. The ball's hit pretty well by Baker. Oh, Gonzalez dives to get it, bobbles it, gathers it back, and what a play! Oh, Nick Gonzalez, the shortstop, the freshman, really showing off the glove here tonight in a big-time situation, in a big-time series. Now let's see if the Bulls can get some runs in it. They only got 1 chance left. We head to the bottom of the 9th. It's ECU 4-0 like it's been since the third inning. This is baseball on the USF Radio Network presented by Marathon.
Hi, I'm Misty Wells, Tampa Bay Times outdoor correspondent. I'd like to invite you to check out my new video series called Let's Take It Outside. Every other Thursday, I'll take you on an adventure to a destination in the Sunshine State or beyond. From the water to the woods, discover ways to enjoy the outdoors with your family and friends. To see me live and in action, go to tampabay.com/outdoors.
The Tampa Bay Times, journalism that matters.
Hey, Bulls fans! When the Bulls win, you win with Papa John's Pizza. This season, get 50% off your regular menu price online order at papajohns.com the day after the Bulls win. Use online promo code USFWins.
All right.
Papa John's Pizza, the official pizza of USF Athletics. Online offer valid at participating locations. Better ingredients, better pizza. papajohns.com.
USF Baseball on the USF Radio Network, presented by Marathon.
Well, we mentioned that ECU has 3 pitchers with 2 saves, and I guess this won't be a save situation, but the guy who also has one and has a funky sidearm delivery is going to try and close it out anyway, and that is Ryder Giles. Yes, the number 9 hitter in the order who made that big defensive play to keep the Bulls off the board to end the 8th inning. Comes at it from the sidearm delivery. He's appeared in 7 games, 7 1/3 innings. 1 save, 6 walks, 6 strikeouts and 1 walk. You can tell that he's going to be a different sort of pitcher for the Bulls to try and face here.
Looks like Nick Barber has gone in to play third base.
So that's the change that goes with Giles being out there, sliding in from the infield, sliding over from the infield, I should say. So Lanier gave the Pirates 2 innings, basically did what Connor Eason did. Both starters had solid games, and now let's see if the Bulls can solve his sidearmer. Nick Gonzalez stays in the game. He's made some great defensive plays and actually had some pretty good at-bats. Lined out on a great play by the second baseman. Popped out his second time, not other 2 times, so he's one of the only guys, in fact, the only guy in the Bulls lineup that has not struck out tonight, not named Jake Sullivan. And now he is behind 0-2. That ball dips in there in the low portion. Side armor, and who knows, the Bulls get a base runner on, they might bring in one of their other pitchers. There's still activity in the ECU bullpen in this 4-0 game, starting off the bottom of the 9th. See what Giles' waist pitch is. It's high and outside. 1-2. So Gonzalez, Zek, and Santos hoping to get the Bulls on the board. And that ball is stroked to right field. He makes contact again. Right fielder Hoover makes the chase for it. He's got to play, and he makes it for out number 1. Gonzalez continues to make contact, but is going to end up 0-4 on the night. So Garrett Zek comes up, struck out his last 2 times, but singled before that, had the first hit of the game. Bulls have 4 hits, ECU with 8.
Bulls have not been shut out this year.
I know that the Pirates have several to their credit this year. One in Maryland most recently. See if Garrett Zek can do something about that. Outside, 1-0. Pirates had a 10-0 win against Monmouth and 5-0 against Marist, 9-0 against Maryland, 3-0 against Maryland. So 4 shutouts too in one weekend. They've really got a complete team. That fastball hits the outside corner from the righty sidearm slinger. It's 1-1. So Barber over at third base. See if Zek can hit one his way. He's actually pretty up close on the diamond, thinking that Zek might try and drop one down here. That ball's outside, 2-1. Boy, Zek wants to ball one down the first base line. It's right there. Burleson is deep. So the line is just sitting there for him if he wants to go that route. Steady swings to right field, and Huber's going to make a play there for the second out. So a couple of flyouts by the Bulls, and they're down to their last chance here with Santos at the top of the order. He was the victim of a great defensive play in right field by Burleson, who's since moved to first and struck out twice before that. So righty on lefty with a 4-0 game. This would be about a, that ball hits the outside corner, strike one. It's funny, as we noticed in the last inning, it really did feel like ECU was always in control because the Bulls did a good job defensively in keeping them from ever adding to their lead. It really was anyone's game, or at least USF's chance to come in until that last inning when they left the bases loaded, and now they're down to 1 strike. As that sidearm delivery dips right into the zone. Tough one to hit. It's a 1-1, I'm sorry. 2 outs. Bottom of the 9th. Here's the 1-1 pitch. And that's an identical delivery. And it's now 1-2. I think they called that a ball.
Yeah, I think that was a little inside. Ooh. I think they've got it at 2-1.
That's my mistake. That looked like a perfect pitch, to be honest. But we'll take it. 2-1, especially if Santos can meet up with something here. That's called in the outside corner, strike 2. Last chance for the Bulls to get something going here. It has been sort of a crescendo, and I think we're on the wrong end of it right now after the Bulls had that chance in the last at bat. See if I'm wrong. See if Santos can get on, and the ball stays well outside. 3-2. No walks here tonight for Jordan Santos. You know that probably doesn't sit well with him as he has 25 on the season. See what happens here on a full count to him. And he's got to swing at that, and he does. Second baseman has it, bobbles it, but instead makes the play. And Lloyd to Burleson ends the game. So the Bulls had their chances in this game, but a early 3-run homer by ECU's Jake Washer proved to be really enough for the Pirates. They led 4-0 after the 3rd inning, and that ends up being the final score. We'll wrap it up when we come back with our post-game show. The Bulls fall to the Pirates 4-0. This is Baseball on the USF Radio Network, presented by Marathon.
Best tailgate? It's gotta be burgers. And an ice cold Coke.
Real football y pollo asado.
Mac and cheese.
You need a hot grill. And an ice cold Coke.
Of course.
Football and Coke, come on.
It's got to be Coke.
Game day? Race day.
Calls for Coke. You know it.
It's Tailgate 101. This is Charlie Strong. Not all fans agree on the best game day foods, but when it's served with an ice-cold Coca-Cola, you know you've got yourself a winner. Coca-Cola. Taste the feeling, grab one, and go Bulls.